Hi, chat. Hello. Hi. 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 Um, I'm not excited for this, but I guess we're doing it. More Lily Orchard. Hooray! Yippee! This is gonna suck. I dime. I got something cool now. Something really cool. Watch this. Boom. Got a new layout. Pretty cool, huh? Made it myself. I'm so awesome. I have a chat box. I have my own thing. I have a little space where you know, it's cool. Oh, yeah. Pretty awesome. So, as I said, we're gonna be doing more of the same. I'm gonna get mad at Lily Orchard again. And yeah, that's the plan. No, I made it myself. I did not buy it. I wanted to show them up, and so I made my own thing. Because I'm cool. My headphones are out of battery. That's cool. Legend has it this is the point where the video gets really bad. Oh, I hope so. Because if not, then this is gonna be boring. If you ask me, it was already really bad. But let's do this. Let's do this. I'm so ready for this. Let's just get straight into it.
I'm a kid of the 90s, so I grew up with the very first Pokemon games, but Generation 3 and Hoenn remains to this day my all-time favorite gen. It introduced many of my favorite characters, it has the best written story, it has some of the most beautiful locales of any region, especially as this was before the DS brought in the washed-out pastels and jaggy 3D models of Gen 4 and
Fuck you. The limited 3D in this game is so charming. It is so charming. You don't get none of that. No revisionism about this. The limited 3D is cool. Objectively cool.
5. And it introduced many Pokemon that remain among my favorites to this very day. Generation 3 is something of a controversial gen. Some people adore it, some people hate it, and others correctly identify it as the starting point for many things about Pokemon that have annoyed people in later years. But let's dive in, shall we? This one opens with a more elongated opening sequence where you get out of the truck, fix your clock, and talk to the misogynistic neighbor boy before being able to choose your Pokemon. This shit's getting longer every game of.
Why misogynistic? I didn't really... I mean, I don't remember him being misogynistic at all. But okay, you do you. Hello.
Fucking swear. And this little bitch is really condescending. I'm actually surprised by just how casually sexist he is. What, are you streaming a debate over there, Brendan? Wait, his name is Brendan? Finally, I get to compete against my wife's boyfriend. Man, he'll be pissed to find out they let Christy Golden write his dialogue. Oh wait, that's what he was doing, his Sylvanas live stream. I'll be honest, I actually like Brendan more than
Sorry,
Silver.
I wasn't paying attention. I was doing something else.
I think Brendan is one of my favorite rivals.
I dropped my phone. Give me a sec, I need to check something. Okay.
Because while he is
I'm not buying your overlays. I'm not interested. I have my own. I made my own. I don't need you.
casually sexist, he's not trying super hard to be your friend or trying super hard to slag you off. Sure, his sexism does irritate me, but in a good way, where it's all the more fun to beat his Pokemon into the...
Where is the...
My wife's boyfriend. Man, he'll be pissed if I...
Wait, no, I'm gonna go back. I wasn't paying attention.
It has the best written story, it has some of the most beautiful locales of any region, especially as this was before the DS brought in the washed out pastels and jaggy 3D models of Gen 4 and 5. And it introduced many Pokemon that remain among my favorites to this very day. Generation 3 is something of a controversial gen. Some people adore it, some people...
That's my real name. Actually, it's not. That's a lie. I'm lying. I'm a liar. I'm a pathological liar. And actually, Lily Orchard is my favorite YouTuber, and everything she says is right.
People hate it, and others correctly identify it as the starting point for many things about Pokemon that have annoyed people in later years. But let's dive in, shall we? This one opens with a more elongated opening sequence where you get out of the truck, fix your clock, and talk to the misogynistic neighbor boy before being able to choose your Pokemon. This shit's getting longer every game, I fucking swear. And this little bitch is really condescending. I'm actually surprised by just how casually sexist he is. What are you?
Oh, that's it. That's the...
Where? And this little
sexism.
bitch is
And our new next door neighbors is
really
gym
condescending.
leaders, so I
I'm
assumed
actually
you'd be a
surprised by
guy.
just how casually sexist he is.
Okay.
What, are you streaming a debate?
Is that? I mean, it's idiotic of him, yes, but I don't think that's like egregious sexism. I think he's just an idiot, maybe. I don't think it's that serious.
Over there, Brendan? Wait, his name is Brendan? Finally, I get to compete against my wife's boyfriend. Man, he'll be pissed to find out they let Christy Golden write his dialogue. Oh wait, that's what he was doing, his Sylvanas live stream. I'll be honest, I actually like Brendan more than Silver.
joke.
I think Brendan is one of my favorite rivals because while he is casually sexist, he's not trying super hard to be your friend or trying super hard to slag you off. Sure, his sexism does irritate me, but in a good way, where it's all the more fun to beat his Pokemon into the dirt, and he gets salty when he loses later on, which is just great. And it's probably Birch's fault he's like this anyway. I eventually found Professor Birch being savaged by a raccoon, and
Okay.
understandable, those things have rabies, you need to kill him on sight. So to do that, I chose Trico, because it's correct. And then Birch says that I pulled a
I think all starters in this gen are good. Like, I have a weird thing with Gen 3 starters where I think all of them are good, but at the same time, if I had to pick one of them, I wouldn't want any of them. Like, I'll never pick Gen 3 over another region's starters. I don't know why. It's just weird. Like, all of their designs are really good, but they're not my thing, is the thing. Like, out of them, I guess the one I like the most is Trico, so I kind of agree, but I don't know.
it off with a plum. A plum? Well, that's just charming dialogue. Anyway, he tells me I should go meet my Metamore, and I already have. He's a much nicer guy than Nintendo seems to think he is. Seriously, Poet, you don't deserve this shit you're getting from me. So he challenges me to a fight, and it's no contest because I went and bought 5 potions before the fight because honor means nothing to a corpse, and
God, dude, I saw the animations in that fight, and I got whiplash because I've been playing so much Pokerogue, and I play it on 5 times speed. So don't tell Lily that if she plays Brendan, May has different dialogue. I mean, yeah, that's pretty expected, right? Because the whole dialogue about, oh, I expected you to be a guy, wouldn't make sense if you were a guy.
so Birch gave me a Pokedex and tells me to go fill it, and so far so stand. Come on, Trico, we're going on an adventure. As soon as I catch myself a baby, if you thought I wasn't going to, you don't know me.
It begins. It begins.
Very well. I named her G. Okay, so one problem with the Gen 3 games is that the routes are either really, really long or really, really short. The next town is always either 5 steps over or way off in Russia. The older games had this problem too, but it's a while until you reach the properly long routes. 3 badges in, actually. The other games had Mount Moon, Union Cave, Viridian, and Ilex Forest all before your 3rd badge. The most...
Oh no, I know about the Gardevoir stuff. I know it. I know about that. I have a bone to pick with that, actually. But we're not on the part where I get my complaints yet.
Gen 3 has is a bridge. It's a nice bridge.
I don't think... Honestly, I still don't get her. She likes gauntlets, but she doesn't like long routes. Is that it? I think it makes sense. It makes more sense than if the roads just started getting longer and longer. It makes more sense if they're just kind of random, I think. That's just me, maybe. I don't know.
I'll give you that. Anyway, I get to Petalburg and talk to my dad. Hey, Dad, been a while. As you can see, I changed my entire gender. He gives me this small, sickly...
Yeah, cycling road, I think it was. She did love cycling road. I don't think she's being hypocritical because she did say she likes this cycling road. I don't think she was complaining, actually. I wasn't paying that much attention. It's not that serious, I think.
Boy named Wally and asked me to teach him how to catch Pokemon. I think this might be the most elegant implementation of the catching tutorial. Now you're the more experienced trainer helping the kid. That's very wholesome. I love Wally. Also, he catches a Ralts. The boy has good taste. That is the friend Pokemon. So I took G out for some training and some world-class intellect, decided that Ralts doesn't learn confusion until level 6, so I've just switched.
Don't know why you're throwing... Oh, actually, the battle probably just started, right? Yeah, okay.
Trained the way there. It's alright, I have a Gecko. Also, those rich kids can fuck off. It's here we meet our first Team Aqua Grunt, who's trying to mug a businessman. And let me tell you, I was conflicted here. I mean, he's a capitalist. I have to let him suffer. But I can't progress until I help him. I see what you're about, Nintendo. So the first thing to do in Rustboro is actually run right past Rustboro to the Rusturf Tunnel, where another Aqua Grunt has mugged an old man and fled into an incomplete tunnel. That was a very bad mistake, and I'm about to carve the lesson into his flesh. Except I'm not, because I fucked up the sequence and he wasn't here. So I had to go back and do everything else first. Let's just cut this part out. So Roxanne is a rock-type gym leader. Is there something about rock that makes it an ideal first gym? Fucking 3 games use it. Anyway, the thing is...
Wait, 3 games use it. Gen 1, Gen 3. What's the other one? Not Gen 5. Gen 6 doesn't have gym leaders, so... Sorry, Gen 6 is Kalos, I forgot about that. Gen 4, yeah, it makes sense that I didn't remember it. I don't give a shit about Gen 4. Thanks,
that rock is weak to grass, so... Oh, fuck, I just remembered. Roxanne's a school teacher. This joke was in terrible taste.
Hey, Lance, it's off. It's off. It's off. It's off.
Oh.
Throw this phone away, Lois.
So anyway, that guy from...
Not that funny, but okay.
From earlier got robbed again and wants me to get his stuff back.
cool.
You want another bailout? What am I, the federal government? Anyway, I find Mr. Briny there, who also lost his Wingull. Finally, a cause I can get behind. So I crush the Aqua Grunt and move on. I take a visit to Devon Corp and he gives me a free smartphone, but as soon as I leave, a scientist stops me and insists on installing the phone feature because he didn't before. How the fuck do you still have a job? And forces me to call the Devon Corp president. You don't need to do this, Game Freak. I'm glad you've got it. Stop forcing it on me. Actually, this time around the phone is awful. Before you could just refuse everyone's number and not be pestered by their inane calls. This time around, everyone is forcibly added to match call, and they bother you all the fucking time.
Kinda true. Who cares? It's the United States. True that.
Oh, this is fucking cancerous. Why would you do this? Game Freak can never have a normal, good idea. They have to pile it under layers of bullshit. So the president of Devon Corp has decided that deputizing a small child is better than paying a $5 shipping fee and wants me to deliver a letter to Duford Town and a package to Slateport. I did not sign up to work in the Amazon Fulfillment Center. Slateport, more like Slaveport. Got him! So because he owes me for saving his bird/possible lover, Mr. Briny gives me a ride.
What? Huh? Where did that come from? What? Why is the bird his possible lover? Where did that idea come from exactly? When was that established? Did I miss something? Did I black out for a second? What?
Because I'm a sensible person and also G is underleveled, I go through the cave to find Steven Stone first, and you'll be surprised to know what Mr. Stone's specialty is. That's right, it's Steel-type Pokemon. Anyway, I gave Steven his letter. He gives me his favorite TM, which is one that only one of his Pokemon can use, and it's not even his ace. Good job, Steven. And he leaves me there in a hole. Dick. So I crawled out and head to Duford Gym to fight Brawly, the footage of which is lost thanks to OBS's patented "you left the pause button on after coming back from getting a sandwich, go fuck yourself, I'm not going to highlight that at all and leave you looking like a liar" technology. But just rest assured that it was a suitably amazing fight that I definitely didn't lose to 4 times. Don't type that fucking comment. So I arrive in Slateport City and fight my way through the beach full of tourists, demanding I have a Pokemon battle with them and insisting I give them my number. I arrive at the marine.
Who cares? Lily Archer does a redacted. That redacted could be so many different things. I honestly cannot tell what you meant. She does have a psychic type. I was gonna say. She has... Well, to be fair, Ralt sucks balls. And so does Curlia, so, like... I don't know, like... They're not good. Until it becomes Gardevoir, that Pokemon kind of fucking sucks. Like... It has lower... It has such low base stats. Like, it's garbage. If I remember correctly, Curlia has this, like, lower base stat totals than, like, starter Pokemon in their first Evo. It's that bad. Sure hope she doesn't blame the game for the Pokemon being kind of bad. We're gonna get there. We are gonna get there.
Office, only to be told that Captain Stern went to the museum. So I go to the museum and find that Aqua's milling about. Oh, well, that's definitely not a good sign. So when I go to give Captain Stern the Sea Pearl, I mean the Devon part, sorry, I thought it was in a more chaotic story for a second, Aqua shows up and tries to convince me to go party with them. Sir, I am not that kind of girl. So I crush them, and Archie shows up and calls his own men simps for losing to a child. Sir, that's a combination of words I don't much care for.
Cram.
Archie thinks I'm
Why
part of
is this
Team
bit
Magma,
going
which I
on
found
for
quite
so long?
insulting, honestly.
Like, it wasn't funny the first time. You don't need to repeat it. It's okay. You don't need to keep going. It's fine. You can miss sometimes. We don't need to keep repeating the same joke again and again.
Do I look like I hang out in a volcano to you? On second thought, don't answer that. He says I will rue the day I stood in the way of his plans, and then just gives up and leaves. What a good sport. I find the Aqua Grunts I beat up in the forest and Rusturf Tunnel, and he's apparently so traumatized he gives me a free TM and begs me not to hurt him. Did I just mug that guy? I run into Birch on the next route, who asks where Brendan is. Well, in my experience, he's either with my wife or writing Supercorp fanfiction. Love you, poet. Please.
Okay, stop talking about your wife's boyfriend, I think was what she said. Whatever.
Please don't fuck with me, I will cry. Actually, I found him further along the route, so apparently Birch wasn't even looking very hard. Anyway, I crushed him. Okay, he crushed me. But I crushed him the second time, and G evolved into a slightly bigger child. So I spent some time training my Pokemon in the road between Mauville and Verdanturf, because between all the trainers, there's like 30 Pokemon with trainer XP, and you're a fool if you don't soak it up like the gluttonous hog you are. But after that, my only thing to do is snag the bike and rush right for the gym. In the remake, they made Mauville a real crossroads town that you keep coming back to for story reasons as part of the general padding the game with dialogue that goes into most of these remakes. Actually, fuck, I forgot, Wally's here and he wants to battle with just a level 16 Ralts. Aw, poor kid.
Okay.
After crushing the dreams of my apprentice and putting him on an arc to train...
I haven't played the remakes in so long, I can't even comment on that. Like, I don't know. I'm out of my element today. I'm not able to do anything right now. This sucks.
And grow stronger and meet me at Victory Road and get crushed again, I continue on to the gym. Kinda, I'm telling this story out of order. Watson's gym has this obnoxious button puzzle that is determined to make you think you can get around the gym trainers, but you can't, and it makes you die a little inside.
Couldn't you just go one up? Oh no. I mean, you could. Just, I don't know how this puzzle works, actually. Forget it.
But once you actually get to Watson, it turns out he's a very gentle and supportive pile driver right into the pavement. I got by just stacking Calm Mind on G, at least until he got in that cheeky sonic boom, little stinker. Second time around, I tried to do the
You can get around the gym trainers, it's possible. Okay, yeah. I thought so. There's not a lot of gyms that, like, you can't. Most gyms you can. There's, like, a few that you can't, I'm pretty sure, but...
mind trick again, but somebody decided to blow up. Fine, I'll go level grind some more, you bastard. Third time's the charm, and this time I actually managed to get a few calm minds off, and she survived the self-destruct on 1 HP like a fucking mad lass. Gee, I'm sorry I ever doubted you. Now don't fuck this up for me. And you know what happened? She didn't. She bodied all of them. Mantrick was a little bitch with the super potions, but I was equally scummy, so I guess I can't complain. I mean, I'm gonna complain anyway, but still. So on the road to Philarbor Town, one of the...
You're playing with items... Like, I don't think... Don't know why you're complaining this much over losing. You're not playing a Nuzlocke. You can just try again. Like, just try again. It's fine. Also, you're playing with a famously weak Pokemon until it evolves. Don't expect much of it. I'm sure you could have caught like a ground type somewhere. Or a grass. You have a grass type! Use the grass type! I just remembered. Use the grass type against the electric gym. That's basic fucking things. Has she ever tried to catch new Pokemon? No, she doesn't. She didn't do it like ever in the other gens either. She didn't. She doesn't.
The longest and most interesting routes in the game, I decided to take on the Windstrait family because the reward they give you is a Macho Brace, an item that doubles the EV points you get. Normally this is a good thing because it means you can spend less time making your Pokemon stronger, but in normal story mode play, you can't control what you fight, and so that just means my Pokemon are becoming terrible faster. Hope you like those attack EVs, G. So the route to Falar...
Okay. EV training is not necessary for the main game. Let's not act as if it is. You can very easily beat it without EV training. It doesn't matter. It doesn't actually matter.
Harbor takes you up a mountain, through a fiery cave, and out another long path that leads up to a rest house, and then through an ash field before finally reaching Falarbor Town. What the fuck? That's like 4 environment changes on one route. That's not even counting the desert, which is completely optional and unlocked later as a shortcut back to Mauville, if you don't feel like going through...
I find that cool. I like Hoenn's, like, diversity. It's really interesting. Yeah, it's for the post game. Like I said, it's not a main game thing. You really don't need it. You almost never need EV training unless you're doing like a hardcore Nuzlocke or like playing competitive. You are never gonna need EV training. Ever.
The rest of Meteor Falls. Remember what I said earlier about how some of the routes in this game are really long and really interesting? There's another one later after we get Badge 5, but this is some really cool environment design here. Almost makes sense that the cable car and desert aren't accessible because otherwise you'd miss out on this really good route and tons of experience. The Ashlands themselves are probably the most unique area in the entire franchise, and you can pick up little puffs of dirt to make flutes with. Well, this is delightful.
Okay, I don't know most, but it is cool. It is very different. Hoenn is such a cool region. Like, the diversity in environments is so cool.
To make it through the Ashlands to get to Falarbor Town, the first thing to do is run immediately past Falarbor Town and over to Meteor Falls. On the way there, G evolved into Gardevoir, and now I have a walking nuke for a best friend. Nothing can hurt me now, except the dark. One thing of note is that Gardevoir's sprite is pretty androgynous in Gen 3. It's funny how later gens would actually try to make them look a lot more feminine. You know, round out their horn, give them a masculine counterpart evolution. Man, all those memes really fucked Game Freak up, didn't it? Apparently in Meteor...
Don't diss Gallade. Gallade is awesome. Gallade is cooler than Gardevoir, by the way. And I will stand by that opinion.
Falls, Magma and Aqua get into a fight about a meteor that they're trying to steal from some scientist. Magma cheeses it. Archie apologizes for assuming I was part of Team Magma. Great, now apologize for your men hitting on me. I am only 10. I then have to chase Team Magma back to Mount Chimney because they're trying...
What's your thing with the whole... Like, that's the second time you make a joke about the Evo teams trying to hit on you, and I don't get it. Once again, wasn't funny the first time. It's not funny the second time. Like, stop. Please. It's not that good of a joke.
Trying to make a volcano erupt to expand the land and kill everyone in its wake. Did you not think this through? We want more land for human expansion. What humans?
The lawyer has told me not to give the reason.
You're gonna kill them all, Maxie! Are you infected by an alien plague? Is this the fucking screwfly solution? You're gonna bury humanity, you trash man! You piss boy! You prodigious buffoon! So after I destroy Maxie...
That's the point. The point is that they're total idiots and have no idea what they're doing and haven't really thought about their plans. That is the whole point. That Archie and Maxie are total idiots. That's what makes them good. Because they're not smart. They didn't think through. And now you're having to follow them around and deal with the fallout of every one of their actions.
With facts and logic, he just leaves, and leaves the meteorite here. What the fuck is going on in that man's head? Then Archie asks, whose side am I on? Sir, I literally wasn't allowed to move on with my badges until I came up here. Perhaps you should stop blocking every route, and children wouldn't go looking for you to get you out of their way. I'm on whichever side helps me become the champion. Actually, since I'm here, out of all the wordy supervillains Pokemon has, Magma and Aqua are probably the best because they only have a few moments in the story. Plasma and Galactic are encountered at damn near every route in their
Here's Lily Orchard being happy that she doesn't have to engage with the story. Hooray! I didn't expect anything else, honestly. That's just kind of what she does. So she likes Team Aqua and Magma because she has to interact with them less. Dude. And she was complaining about the whole Team Rocket story in Gen 2. And she was complaining that she had to do 3 Team Rocket things in Gen 1 in a row. She just doesn't like the story. That's it. She just doesn't want to engage with it. Just admit it. You're not interested. There's nothing. If you just said, I'm not interested in the story, that would be better than acting as if you are and then shitting on it because you have to actually engage with it in order to enjoy it.
respective games, and you often have no choice but to stop them. But I went several towns before running into Magma and Aqua again, and I think that's pretty neat. I won't run into them again until the Weather Institute, and that's a whole 2.5 badges away. And
Media literacy depth has that her descendants gotta pay for generations to come true.
that makes sense. They need that time to go concoct their evil schemes. I shouldn't be running into them every 5 minutes, Unova! They're not as good as Giovanni, but I'll take Patchy the Pirate and the Sons of Adam as a compromise. So the gym in Lava Ridge Town is, how do I put it? Fucking terrible. You have to step on these pads to go between levels, and the distinction between what's a pad and what's a trainer hiding under the mud hoping you get there before they suffocate to death is left up to the machinations of fate. Sometimes it just throws you in the middle of a double battle. Isn't that great? And the gym leader stammers her introduction despite having all that time to prepare it. Great first impressions, Flannery. Why does
That's the whatever.
so many girls have crushes on you back in 2002? So because this is a fire
The point of Flannery is that she's trying to be confident and like a good gym leader, but she's clearly not fit for the job. That's the point. Why are you acting as if you're like you're not jabbing on the game? The game is jabbing at her. It's like the whole point of the character. That's not. You're not being smart. You're just pointing something that the game did on purpose and acting as if it wasn't on purpose when it clearly was. Girls have a crush on her because she's pretty. She is. Yeah, well, yeah. They like her because she has a good design, and that's it. I think that's what most people like gym leaders for. Most gym leaders don't really have a personality a lot of the time. That's how I feel a lot of the time. It's mostly just a design competition. It's not really a personality thing. So yeah, the gym is a gauntlet. Also the point.
gym and I have a Corphish, I feel that what I'm about to do to these Pokemon is some kind of war crime. Or at least I would if Slugma didn't get off a sunny day boosted overheat. Fine, Banshee, solve everything. So I have the 4th badge, and then Brendan gives me some goggles to get through the desert. Love you, poet. Heading back to Petalburg, I decided to take the Rust Turf Tunnel instead of Meteor Falls because I wanted to explore the desert. The desert's a cool zone, but there isn't much to it. It's just a place to fight ground trainers and just see this new tile set. But I did come here for one reason, and that was to catch a Trapinch. Trapinch is really good. It evolves into Flygon, which covers my need for a fly user, and also covers a lot of weaknesses in my team. You can't go wrong with one, honestly. One trip...
True! Finally a good opinion! Flygon is awesome! I love Flygon. It's so cool. I wish I got more chances to use it.
back through Rusturf Tunnel in the woods later, and I'm back at my father's. So the Petalburg's gym's gimmick is item usage. You choose a room that centers around a different stat, attack, speed, defense, whatever, and not only are the Pokemon geared toward that stat, they use items to boost those stats. It is kind of interesting because that necessitates different counterplay. Do you want to go for the bulky ones and melt them, or take your bulky Pokemon against Sweeper? When you reach Norman, he's using everything. His main Pokemon is a Slacking, which hits like a truck and can tank a lot of damage, but moves very slowly. I fought like a dirty coward, spamming Calm Mind on Spinda, because spamming Calm Mind is literally the best decision you could ever make, and with G being a lot faster than any of his other Pokemon, it was just a straight sweep. You see how broken this Pokemon is? People think I'm joking when I say Gardevoir needs some serious nerfs because they aren't very good and competitive, but in the main game they just slaughter by virtue of having good moves. A big problem with Psychic types in Gen 1 was that they had very high Spatak and Spadoof by virtue of how the special stat worked, and their big weakness was physical attacks. A lot of them were reconfigured to just one of those in Gen 2, but Gardevoir, again, has very high Spatak and Spadoof, and the ability to pad those stats with an early game Calm Mind. Calm Mind makes you stronger and bulkier, and it really should only do one of those things. This isn't helped by the fact that Dark, the type added to rein Psychic types in, is special. So even without Calm Mind, they can still take a crunch to the face, and with it, it's even worse. You'd think Gen 4 fixed this with the physical special split, but it didn't. Gardevoir just got even more moves, and they could already learn Reflect to curb physical attackers. You give Gardevoir Reflect and Calm Mind, and they're basically unkillable. How bad is it? It's this bad.
Okay, I wanted to let her finish talking so I could talk about it. Yes, setting up is really strong, but like that doesn't make a Pokemon busted. You know what's a good Pokemon that can set up? Gyarados. Because Gyarados has Intimidate, which is pretty good against, for example, rock types, which are mostly physical attackers. So it can basically trump any physical attackers. And then it can Dragon Dance, which makes it faster and stronger. Which I would argue being faster is more important than being bulkier a lot of the time. In a lot of situations. Obviously, both are really good. Like, being super bulky is obviously going to save you a lot. But certain Pokemon benefit from being bulky. Certain Pokemon benefit from being faster. Gardevoir, I would say, would probably benefit more from being fast, since it's not a very bulky mon by default. That's not the point. It is very frail. But setting up to +6 is gonna be good on any Pokemon. That could make anything be a sweeper. Like, basically any Pokemon can, any fully evolved Pokemon that is, can sweep if it's like +6 on its main attack stat. That isn't like a special thing to Gardevoir. You're acting as if Gardevoir is the only Pokemon that can do this. It is not. There are other Pokemon that can do this and better. Shit, like, I don't know. Let me think of something. Fucking, whatever. You get the point. It doesn't matter. Like, other Pokemon can do the same thing, and Gardevoir is, like, it's a good Pokemon. No one is disagreeing about that. Maybe it's not competitively viable because, you know, generation power creep is a thing. But, like, come on. Don't act as if it's, like, this insane new strat that no one's ever done before, when this is basic shit. Lily Orchard is a person who never, like, talked to someone who plays Pokemon on a higher level of, like, Nuzlocking or competitive. She never talked to them when she was younger, and then she found out that status moves are good by herself, and then she felt like she was the new Albert Einstein, and no one ever like disproved her because she doesn't talk to competitive or nuzlockers. Yeah, that's what I said. Gardevoir isn't viable because there are other Pokemon that can do what it does better. Fluttermane can do the exact same things Gardevoir does, but better. Why would I ever choose Gardevoir when I can choose something like Fluttermane? It makes no sense. Or like fucking Goldengo. Something, anything. Any currently viable Mon is better than Gardevoir. And that's a fact. That's not something you can, like, dodge. Or, like, what's the word? You can prove it wrong because it's right. Like, it's just the truth. Gardevoir, when it was a new Mon, it was probably really good. But now it's not. Because there are other Pokemon that can do the exact same thing and better. Gardevoir doesn't even have a good ability. Like, it's just a normal Pokemon, and you can use it in your main playthrough. But once again, Lily Orchard has this obsession with acting like she's being persecuted for using a Pokemon that isn't, like, viable competitively. No one's persecuting you for that. No one is saying you shouldn't use your favorite Pokemon. The point is that, like, okay, that Pokemon exists, it's good, but why would I use it? In a situation where I can use another Pokemon that's better. No one's saying that you can't use it in your main playthrough, they're just saying, in a certain setting where I can choose between Gardevoir or, as I said before, Fluttermane, I am never going to choose Gardevoir. Because Fluttermane does everything Gardevoir does, but better. And she thinks she's very clever for cracking the code for a game that's meant to be beatable for 10-year-olds. Yeah, you can beat the game by never using status moves. That's what I did multiple times during my life. It's what I said before. She, like, created this idea in her head that she is the one who created, like, setting up. And that's not the truth. Everyone knows you can set up. That is basic shit in any higher level of play. Like, you're not special for it, and Gardevoir isn't amazing for it. You know? You can beat it using only status moves. Can you? I mean, I guess. Probably. Pokemon isn't a hard game. I don't doubt it. But yeah. You get the point of what I was trying to say at this point. Let's just... So beautiful that there are options for beating the game. Maybe the game is easy so you can experiment better. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's an RPG. It's a strategy game. It is designed for you to be able to do different things to beat the game. You can use different strategies. Just like you don't have to always use super effective moves to beat it. You can beat the game by just using neutral damage. That's possible. No one's saying you shouldn't do it. People are just saying, hey, why would I do that when I can make it more effective? Like, no one is saying you can't play in a way that isn't effective. They're just saying, if you want to play in the most effective way, you should do it like this.
I'm not kidding, this is the single most broken Pokemon in the main game that has largely gone unfixed because most people just don't bother to find out that this is such a problem. One Pokemon should not be breaking the game that much. Anyway, I got the balance back. It's not breaking the game!
It's made like that on purpose! It is part of the design! You're not breaking the game by using a mechanic that was coded into the game. You're not using bugs, you're not using exploits, you're not like abusing the AI. You are just clicking two buttons. You are clicking the button for calm mind, and then you are clicking the button for whatever is your strongest move. That is it. That is not a game-breaking strategy. That is how the game is supposed to be played.
That's fucking hilarious given what I did to get it. After that, a strange man asked me to follow him into his house, and it turns out to be Wally's father, who heard Wally ran away and wants to thank me for inspiring him to do that. Wow, way to tell me you hate your kid, bro. He gives me surface thanks. Hooray, now I can cross that tiny river behind which lies the rest of the game. So the routes between here...
So if she thinks it's so easy to set up moves, then maybe she should stop using healing items. That's the thing. If she did that, she would just hate it. Because why not challenge yourself more if you find the game so easy? She doesn't want to challenge herself. That's the thing. She just wants to be right. That's the point. Like, she didn't mention that she's using healing items because that would be detrimental to her point. And like, who fucking cares if it's good in the normal main game playthrough? No one is like impressed that you beat the story in Pokemon. It is meant to be beaten. Like, what? No one is impressed by like, whoa, I can't believe you beat I can't believe you beat Wallace. Everyone's beat Wallace. Everyone did it as kids. What makes setup Gardevoir so good is that she's healing it every time. Yes, it is. As I said, she didn't mention it because it's detrimental to her point. That is the only reason she didn't mention it. She doesn't care about the truth. She just cares about making the idea that she is right. Which she does with every fucking review she makes. She did it with Steven Universe. She did it with Dungeon Meshi. She's doing it again. She like makes shit up or acts as if something doesn't exist because it's convenient. She does it time and time again and it never changes.
And Fortree are interesting because it's mostly a trek through a tropical grassland filled with rivers and tall cliffs. This half of the game is more centered around water, so even the land routes involve a lot of it, and visually it's very interesting. Lots of changing terrain and winding routes and multiple linear paths depending on what bike you have. And I actually forgot how to get over these things. I had to look it up. I like this aspect of Gen 3. It's simple, but it does feel like I'm on an adventure through dangerous landscapes, just a little bit. I feel like Pokemon really should have evolved this 2D look rather than getting progressively more 3D with each generation. I then found Team Aqua at the weather.
Once again, the limited 3D is awesome. Like, I think Gen 5 is the peak of Pokemon, like, appearance. Not appearance, graphics. Because, like, let's be honest, 3D isn't very good in Pokemon. Which makes sense. The devs weren't trained to do 3D when they made the Switch. But, you know, it's still not good. And, like, obviously it just got better. And I like the limited 3D. I think it's really... Okay, not as a reference to the Salty DK Den bit, but I think it's really charming. Sprites are more expressive than models, yes, but models let you properly interact with Pokemon, something she clearly doesn't care about. Yeah. I mean... yeah. I feel like they could have done something. Like, they're smart. They could have done something with sprites to do the same they do now. But, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I'm already over it. Like, when Gen 6 happened, I wasn't a fan, but I got over it. I find the 3D fine. I preferred the sprites. I prefer sprite work. They have their strengths. Yeah, no, they're both okay. Like, my personal preference is sprites. I think they're so much better. But I get why they changed the 3D. It's just better for them.
Institute who are looking for... Actually, what are they looking for? I can't remember. I crushed them because it's just tradition at this point. A little while later, I ran into Brendan and he challenged me to a fight, which I won, naturally, and he gave me the HM for Fly. Well, that's nice. Tell McKay I said hi. Arriving in Fortree City, I bothered some of the locals. Why are you living in a treehouse? Are you 8? Give me a TM or I'm going to bully you.
Lily Orchard hates fun and whimsy. Confirmed. She despises fun and whimsy. She hates everything in this world. Everything that's good and everything that's pure. If these old people want to live in a tree house, let them. I say we should let old people live in trees if they want to.
Woo! Mugging people works! Anyway, the gym is blocked off because something is in the way and I have to go out of the city and onto the route to find Steven, who will tell me, oh yeah, that's a Kecleon. Nasty little bastards. Use this scope to find them. Hooray! The gym is open. Fortree Gym is a flying type gym that uses these
Impressed she didn't complain about that. That's a nice change of pace.
rotating walls as its puzzle. You need to maneuver yourself in a way so that you can move the walls the way you want them to open the way to Winona. It's not bad. It requires a little bit of thinking. Really good for the kids, honestly. The fight with Winona was really no big deal. Her team is all flying, so Shockwave handles most of them, and Psychic took care of both Tropius and Altaria. Like I said, G is pretty busted. The next stop on our journey is Mount Pyre, because we overheard Team Aqua saying that they were chasing Team Magma there. Now, Mount Pyre is weird. It's another Ghost and Psychic dungeon, and at the end you can get a Shadow Ball TM, which is neat. But it's a completely optional dungeon that you don't actually have to do. There's a hallway to the left that takes you right to the peak of Mount Pyre where you actually need to go, which is a shame, because I feel like Mount Pyre could have been a really cool dungeon. But since it was made optional, it no longer matters, and it's just a few floors with trainers to fight. So instead we take...
Just because you're not forced to do something doesn't mean you don't have to. You can do it. It's fine. Like, I don't get this. This is supposed to be a complete retrospective. Again, I'm making this complaint again. I made it a lot in the first stream. This is supposed to be a complete retrospective, but she doesn't talk about, like, almost anything. She mostly just, like, yeah, Shadow Ball is a good reward. Shadow Ball is amazing. But, like, she just skims through the story and kind of mentions mechanics, and that's it. She doesn't mention, like, mythicals and post-game and optional stuff. And it's annoying, because that's not a complete retrospective. That's a half-assed retrospective. This is so half-assed. Like, she didn't even try. I don't get it. You can hear the video, right? Yeah, okay. Sorry, I had to check something. She just wants everyone to play the game the way she does. Yes, because I don't know if you remembered this, but in her channel banner, it says she has a chronic case of always being right. She honestly believes that she's always right, and anyone who disagrees with her is an idiot. Don't know how she ended up like that, but that's okay.
Take the shortcut to the peak, run along the cliffs, and then reach a gauntlet of aqua grunts that is definitely not the same gauntlet from Generation 1. This is completely different because at the end they challenge you to a double battle. Ooh. And at the end, Archie goes, "Nyeh."
What, don't you like gauntlets?
Now I can bring my plans to fruition. What are your plans? What did you like to know? And he vanishes. Sometimes I sit there and stare at that spot, wondering where he went. Where did you go, gay pirate man? Then the old lady tells me that the blue orb and red orb belong together and can't be separated, and tells me to go please.
She put that in the banner ironically, but it doesn't turn. Yeah, because it, like, sure, you made it ironically, but it sounds like you honestly believe it. With the way you talk, it sounds like you honestly believe that.
Bring them back so they can be orb wives in peace, and gives me a key to the magma hideout to do it. And honestly, reuniting a pair of inanimate lesbians is the single greatest mission a child could be given. Don't worry, old lady, I'll bring them back, I swear. Right after I do some shopping. So I run into Brendan in front of the Lily Cove Mall, who insists he's not buying any dolls. And honestly, I didn't suspect he was buying dolls at first, but now that he went out of his way to deny it, he's definitely buying dolls. Make sure you buy one for your girlfriend, and one for your girlfriend's wife. Give me a plushie, Brendan. Okay, he decided to fight me instead, and when he loses, he can't take it and says he's going home to Little Root. I just humiliated him so badly that he gave up. Seriously, Poet, you don't deserve this shit you're getting from me. Getting back to my mission to reunite the Orb Wives takes me to Mount Chimney, where Team Magma's hiding, which is a much more fitting hideout than the one they have in Ruby and Submissive Ruby. They are hidden deep inside a volcano that's almost maze-like. It's actually pretty cool. But it seems there's no air conditioning in there because several of the grunts complained about being hot, and even one regrets not joining Team Aqua. But as you get closer to Maxie, oh boy, are the magma grunts just tucked into every little nook and cranny. I fucking love it, she said sarcastically. Yes, I do want to fight your 50th Zubat, sir. I make it to
But don't you love gauntlets? Orchard, don't you love gauntlets? I thought you loved those. I thought you loved gauntlets. Also, why do you expect air conditioning in a fucking volcano?
Maxie, and he uses the blue orb
I know it's a joke. I'm making my own joke.
to control Groudon, only for Groudon to rocket into the sky. As you do. And Maxie's just completely flummoxed, like he's genuinely confused as to what just happened. Not only did the blue orb not work, but this creature of the land just took off into the sky as if repelled from the orb, and then he blames me for it. Like, sir, I am a 10-year-old girl. I cannot lift that dinosaur. Please calm your fabulous tits. Well, he wants to fight, and I slap him down because that's just how this goes at this point. And then—
by the way, I wasn't saying her joke was funny. I just thought Groudon being flinged into the air is really funny.
he's willing to listen when I say there's a reason that Groudon left and then leaves to go chase after it.
This wouldn't be a problem if she said, I loved Rock Tunnel in that one canto, and not, I love these gauntlets. Yeah. Which I don't get how she loves Rock Tunnel still. That is insanity. Who the fuck likes Rock Tunnel?
Very productive conversation, Maxie. Returning to Slayport, it turns out that Captain Stern is finished with his submarine project that he intends to use to explore the ocean, so it's a good thing we brought those Devon goods to him. Good job, Stern. I'm very proud of— and Team Aqua stole it. I don't even know how they got in there. I'm almost impressed. But unfortunately for them, I know exactly where their hideout is. It's in the city that's crawling with aqua grunts. Seriously, you could not be any less conspicuous if you tried. Where the magma hideout was a mess of navigating tunnels, the aqua hideout is more high-tech, with teleporter pads all over the place. So I'm getting Silphco flashbacks, and I don't like it. No wonder people hate working
Whatever.
for you. One gang works in a sweltering volcano base, the other gang just turned their base into a maze for sheer sadistic thrill. Because Team Aqua's Pokemon are all water, dark, and flying, Sceptile and G can wreck this place like nobody's business. I actually taught Pokemon are all water, dark, and—
ball.
the other gang just turned their base into a maze for sheer sadistic thrill. Because Team Aqua's Pokemon are all water, dark—
Where did she get that? Is that a luxury ball? I don't know the Pokeballs like by Sprite. I think it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Like, where did she get that?
and flying, Sceptile and G can wreck this place like nobody's business. I actually taught G Thunderbolt just for this. I eventually make it to the bay and have to fight Matt, who's just rocking the shirtless look today. Good for you, Matt. Mastectomy scars are nothing to be ashamed of. Be yourself. I'm gonna crush you, though, so, like, square the fuck up. But it turns out—
what are dark and flying? Perfect for a psychic type and a grass type. Yeah. Yeah, maybe not the— you know what? Whatever. She won. I think that's what matters. They're grunts. They're not something that you really should be scared of.
that he was just stalling for time so Archie could finish preparing the submarine. Clever boy, Matt. With myself thoroughly humbled, I left the Aqua Base in search of Archie, and here starts the dreaded sea routes. Okay, so the entire latter half of the game's story takes place on the ocean. Given the importance placed on the balance of land and sea, half the game taking place on the sea isn't necessarily a bad idea. Exploring the ocean is cool. People like doing it. Wind Waker is nothing but that, and it's fucking great. The problem is the fact that the gameplay of the sea routes is unchanged. Sea routes are, in my opinion, the most underutilized aspect of the Pokemon games. There's so many cool things you could do with it if you wanted to for comparatively little effort. Make wayfinding a mechanic to figure out where you're going, give you interesting places to explore, little islands and coral reefs, have interesting things in the ocean to find. But in Pokemon, sea routes are just roads filled with wild Pokemon and trainers, and they're places where the wild Pokemon infest every tile. On land routes, wild Pokemon are only found in tall grass, and the tall grass is used to detail the environments as well. But the rest of the route is relatively safe. But sea routes are like caves where you get harassed on every single damn tile. They're also visually very boring. There's water, there's rocks, sometimes there's dirt, that's it. The only thing Hoenn added was the ability to dive, which should be really cool, but in practice, diving just takes you to a canyon that is just more rock. Sometimes there's a little foliage, but otherwise it's just another path that you find a few other Pokemon in. Can you imagine being a dev on this game, having the entire theme of land and sea drilled into your head, and not making the sea routes anything close to as interesting as the land routes? And what's even worse is that despite the entire Pokemon fanbase complaining about this from the moment these games came out, when IGN made the same complaint about the remakes, people got mad at them for bringing it up. Like, they were the target of mockery for too much water. Like, assholes, you were complaining about this shit for a decade and they still haven't fucking fixed it. Instead, they wasted their time making an entire post-game story where you get ranted to about ham-fisted philosophy by crappy characters and then catch another few useless legendary. It's so fucking ridiculous that they can't get half their gameplay loop right, even after two— oh hey, we're here. So before I could chase—
Okay, lots to unpack here. I agree that sea routes are boring. But here's the thing. The ocean is boring. I fucking hate the ocean. So, I'm just gonna say it. The ocean is fucking boring. That's not really... like, she showed an image of the ocean. And... wait... how much land and coral reefs do you see here? Please do tell. It's all water. Like, Dive should show more. Dive should be more than what it is. I agree with that. Dive could have implemented some interesting like things and environments. I agree it should have been cooler. But the main thing, the ocean, should not. Because it makes no fucking sense. Why would there be a bunch of stuff? It's the ocean. It's all water. Did you know that if you happen to get lost in the ocean, there is a very minimal chance that you will ever be found? Like, people who get lost in the ocean, most of them are never found. Like, not even their bodies. They're just gone. Because it's so fucking big and there are no landmarks. There are nothing. There is nothing there for you to, like, do. That's the point. It sucks. Like... the ocean doesn't have anything. That's just how it is. And I agree that they should have maybe thought of something to do with it. But, like, what the fuck would they do? It's the ocean. Like, they can't do much more than they did. Except for with Dive. Dive is the only thing in that whole complaint that made sense. IGN's too much water. I don't think people are actually mad at that. It was more so just making fun at it because it sounds stupid. It sounds very funny. And it is pretty funny. But it is true. There is a lot of water. And once again, Lily Orchard just decides to make the assumption that the fucking, what's it called? She just makes the assumption that the post game in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire sucks, and that is it. Like, she just decided, I don't care about it, and if you do, you're an idiot, and that's it. Like, once again, she never changes, does she? So the problem with IGN was not that they were complaining about the water. The problem is that that was the main takeaway. True that. It was like one of their main cons, that there is too much water. When that's not really that much of a con.
sea drilled into your head. About this shit for a decade. Story where you get water. Kind of like how I needed to beat the instructor. Chase out ridiculous that they can't get half their gameplay loop right, even after two— oh hey, we're here. So before I could chase after Aqua, I need the badge from Moss Deep's gym before I'm allowed to dive underwater. Kind of like how I needed to beat the instructor at a game of Hearthstone to get my firearms license. Tate and Liza's gym is filled with rotational puzzles. You have to hit the right pads to make things rotate to make a path to the next objective. It's not bad, but it has the lava ridge problem where you always think you might be able to worm your way around the gym trainers, but you just can't. On the plus side, the design of the gym actively discourages backtracking to the Pokemon Center, which is neat. I always feel the gym is ruined when you make me do that. Tate and Liza are the token double battle among the gym leaders.
I always feel like the design of the gym is ruined when you make me do this thing that I don't have to do at all and you're not actually making me do it. But I feel like you are because I made the choice, and if I made the choice, then that means it's the right option.
And all their Pokemon are psychic, but most of them are rock and ground as well, so Sceptile's got this, and G can take care of Xatu. And G can trace levitate, which means Claydol's cheeky little earthquakes aren't a problem. Then come out their signature Pokemon, Lunatone and Solrock. At first things are going well, but then Solrock gets off a sunny day, and Lunatone starts to stack those calm minds.
When did she get a Lyron? When did she get a Lyron? Wait, she didn't even mention that.
Hey, that's my cheap strategy, you lunar bitch. But it's alright, Larion's
Token double battle as if it wasn't literally the first ever double gym battle. True. At the time, it was a cool gimmick.
got this. See? Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Well, I don't have any physical attackers left, so I guess we're stuck chipping away at Lunatone's health and maybe confusing them. Okay, you are officially on my shit list. I just
Look who's stalking.
decided to fight fire with fire and start raising my own stats to put us on equal footing, praying Lunatone didn't knock me out in the process. See what I mean? Calm Mind is broken as fuck.
It's not! You just did the same thing that it did. How is it broken? It's perfect. Whatever.
You know, I'm starting to think this is personal. It's okay, I got them eventually. Our combination was shattered. All your Pokemon went down like chumps. It was just Lunatone that survived. What kind of trainer relies on one single Pokemon to carry the entire... Anyway, we're off to chase Team Aqua to the bottom of the ocean. We're off to the Space Center to stop Team Magma from robbing the place of its rocket...
At least she's self-aware.
What? You're on this again? You're still trying to make the volcano erupt? You already awoke a giant Pokemon. You're back on this? Well, taking control of the Earth itself didn't work. We should go back to the drawing board. I really feel like we were getting somewhere with that volcano thing. This is actually really interesting because Team Magma failed to take control of Groudon and then just said, well, I guess we're gonna move on to our next goal. Like they've completely given up on the legendary Pokemon. I almost admire that. The evil teams these days are so tied to the legendaries that the idea that they could fail and just move on to the next plan is almost inconceivable. This is actually kind of neat. It isn't until after you beat them that they start...
I mean, what the fuck are they supposed to do? Throw a net on Groudon? Like, what do you want them to do? They don't really have a choice, do they? And like the more recent Evo teams don't really get the chance to like give up because the legendaries only really show up towards the end. So it's like, okay, you beat us with the legendary already. Like that's normally how it goes. No, I know that. I'm just saying like in this situation, they couldn't do anything. They didn't really have a choice to, like, capture Groudon. So they just give up on it because they don't have a choice. In the later games, that's kind of how the story goes. They do catch the legendary. And that's why they don't give up on it. But here, they failed. So they don't have a choice other than just give up on it. You know what Evo team doesn't depend on legendaries? Who cares? He probably hates them. Team Yell and Team Star. She is definitely gonna mischaracterize Team Star. And fuck it, she's probably gonna mischaracterize Team Yell as well. But yeah, mostly because they're not really evil teams. Team Yell is not an evil team, they're just annoying. Team Star is just a bunch of, like, bullied kids, right? I haven't finished Paldea. Don't actually spoil me. Shit, I'm gonna have to stop in Gen 9, huh? I just noticed that. I'm not gonna be able to watch it because I haven't finished the story. And I heard that it's really good. I want to experience it myself. Well,
to think that maybe they're barking up the wrong tree and decide to investigate the matter. I'll have more to say about this later on, but suffice to say, I think Team Aqua and Magma have aged a lot better than most evil teams. Anyway, now that I've got the proper form signed in triplicate to the Moss Deep Gym, I now have license to dive underwater, because the Pokemon League is run by Vogons, apparently. We're chasing after a sailor who is obsessed with getting his whale. I plowed my way through the Aqua Grunts and then got there before Archie somehow. What, did you stop for a pretzel? And did you give me one? Sadly, the power of the red orb only made Kyogre hunger for the flesh of her brother, and Archie is left holding the literal idiot ball. Maxie comes by and tells Archie what he figured out like 2 dungeons ago, and we come up to the surface to see that climate change is upon us. It's at this point that Archie and Maxie fully come to grips with what they've done. They've doomed everyone, and they didn't realize it until it's too late. I think that's what I like about Archie and Maxie. It's not that they're misguided, it's not that they want to do good, it's that they're fucking idiots. These two go about trying to create an apocalypse, not realizing just how suicidal it is until dawn on the final day, and they realize, oh, hang on. They spend the entire game like, I'm gonna cause a climate crisis and kill a lot of people. And then when they cause a climate crisis and it starts killing people, they're like, smooth move, dicks for eyes, you sure showed all us normies. I love how Maxie tells me, don't say anything. I like to imagine that May was giving him the most smug bitch grin possible. So to clean up this mess, we have one option.
Once again, that is the point. That is what makes them good. I agree. I like Team Aqua and Team Magma. Specifically for that, they're kind of just idiots.
And that's to go to Sky Pillar, because what do you do when the land and sea are fighting? Call Sky Daddy, of course. So I climb up to the top of the pillar, see this massive dragon-looking motherfucker. He takes one look at me and goes, ugh, this again, and flies off.
It's him!
I fly back to Sutapa City to watch as Rayquaza descends from the clouds like a heavenly angel, lowers himself down upon his 2 brethren who are fighting, and cries,
When I come out, I want all these freeloading parasites out of here!
And then they slink back to their caves like frightened little children, and Rayquaza goes back to his perch. This whole sequence is just me telling on them to their dad. It's awesome. Even Archie and Maxie comment on the fact that he just zipped down and Uncle filled them back to sleep like, wow, we really went through all that trouble and it was fixed that quickly. Compared to Ruby and Sapphire,
I mean, I don't really have any comments to make here. The Scarlet and Violet emotionally charged this story. After the Scarlet and Violet emotionally charged story, I wouldn't mind the next Pokemon game to have a more humorous one. Yeah. I'm just fine with anything. I don't really mind anything. I'm happy as long as it's cool.
the calamity that Aqua and Magma unleash is far less intense in Pokemon Emerald. The weather changes rapidly and you can fix it by rushing to Rayquaza. Even the music it plays is a lot less serious, it's just a slowed down version of heavy rainfall. In Sapphire, all of Hoenn is plagued by intense rain with the sound of rainfall just pummeling into your ears with lightning flashing and while panicked, hasty music plays.
To make it go on for this long.
It really captures a feeling of anxiety and fleeing from a storm, like everyone's hastily getting in their cars, driving off, probably getting on ships, trying to decide what they should take before deciding to only take the essentials. Just listening to this music, you can imagine a little girl dropping her teddy bear, but they don't go back for it. In Ruby, the entire land is covered in bright, oppressive, pulsing sunlight that even just looking at makes you feel like you're under a hot desert sun. And the music is this intense, harsh tone that's borderline creepy.
Okay, actually, no, this is cool. Finally, she's mentioning something that is, like, actually cool to mention as in a retrospective. I agree. This is awesome. That is all. I wanted to compliment her for doing it right this time. Good job, Lily. Contrary to Lily Orchard, who minds everything. Okay. Let's try not to shit on her after I just complimented her.
This just feels like you're living in a drought. This is the one thing Ruby and Sapphire have above Emerald, in that they make the weather calamity feel like a calamity. Even the response from Team Aqua and Magma respectively carries more horror behind it as they realize the full extent of what they've done. Now, the remakes are the worst of these because while the story hasn't changed much, it's been made much more verbose and lathers the player in grandiose importance the entire time. Even the music is worse. The heavy rainfall music sounds more like the underwater stage of a Sonic game.
I like this song. It's a good song. It's kind of a banger, actually. Messages are a little delayed. Maybe that's why. No, it's just that I read the message a little bit late.
While Drought sounds like I'm trying to pilot a spaceship away from a star that's about to go supernova.
Like, they're not the same, but that's just because of the change in instruments. Like, they portray the same thing, and I think both the original versions and the remake versions are really good. Like, come on. You're telling me this song isn't good? It doesn't give you a feeling of dread that the whole world is ending?
I'm not a fan. I think the heavy rainfall and drought themes of the original Ruby and Sapphire are some of the best music the series has ever had, both for how well composed they are, but also how they each capture a very different kind of terror that their respective weather is supposed to bring. When people talk about good music in Pokemon, they don't really think about where it's used. The music in a video game is all about the atmosphere it sets. Sure, maybe some songs in Pokemon are creepier or more intense, like the theme to N's Room and Zinnia's battle theme comes to mind, but the difference is that Ruby and Sapphire are setting the mood for something that's actually good and creepy and unsettling. N's Room is a creepy theme, but N is the single most obnoxiously verbose waste of effort, value, money, space, and time the series has ever had.
Wrong.
Zinnia's battle theme is intense, but the actual fight with Zinnia is not. I did come here expecting to really kick Team Aqua and Magma in the teeth, but I really think they've both aged surprisingly well in the original versions. Their dialogue is succinct, and their characters are a lot more charming than later villains. They really capture the vibe of an eco-terrorist in that they're fucking idiots who will only hasten ecological collapse. I know people like the later villains for spouting ham-fisted philosophy and pretending to be deep and complex, but there's only so much complex you could get when your end goal is the same as the bad guy from Kingdom Hearts. Aqua and Magma are good. You two.
But don't you like Kingdom Hearts? You say it's one of your main inspirations for one of your, like, what was it? It was a comic, I think. Why are you, what?
Get to live. Anyway, now that I'm free of the plot, I'm allowed to get the last gym badge to prove I'm worthy of challenging the Elite Four, because...
You know, I don't think Lily Orchard likes Team Magma and Team Aqua because, like, they show up less or they're better written. I just think that they are so simple in comparison to characters like N that she is actually able to understand them while not paying attention to the story, and that's why she likes them. Because she's able to absorb everything that is being said while barely paying attention. I'm not saying they're bad villains. I think they're amazing. But they are, in fact, very simple. And their simplicity is what makes them good. But, like, once again, she just doesn't like paying attention to the story. And so when a complex character like N shows up, she doesn't like them. But when a character like Archie and Maxie shows up, she likes them because they are really simple and very easy to understand. So she doesn't really have to pay attention. That's a little elitist. What's elitist? What something I said is elitist? Like, I'm not saying liking simpler characters is bad. or anything like. I'm just saying she doesn't enjoy paying attention to the story. So when she's like, so obviously she enjoys the characters that she doesn't really have to pay attention to understand, to like be able to enjoy them, because they are super simple characters. It's not a bad thing to like simple characters. It's just the truth, I think. Kind of true. What's annoying is that she doesn't admit she likes simpler stories. It's always this story sucks and never it's not for me. Yeah. Basically. Like, there's nothing wrong with liking simple. Simple is good. Like, good basics are always gonna be better than a messy, super complicated, like, thing where you're trying to do something different. I would rather have a simple story that just gets the basics right than a story that is trying to be super complicated and just messes it up. You know? For the sake of trying to look smart but isn't actually. For the sake of trying to be complex but it fails at it. You know what does that? Five Nights at Freddy's kinda. Like, I love the Five Nights at Freddy's storyline, but it is so complicated for no fucking reason. Well, there is a reason, because Scott Cawthon was just making shit up as he went. But, like, it is super complicated, and, like, it's kind of not good. You break, hope she doesn't say something absurdly stupid while I'm away. Oh, she will.
Neither rain nor drought nor big kaiju fight is going to halt the bureaucracy for even a second. Zootopolis Gym is great because you can bypass every trainer fight and go right to the gym leader if you're capable of doing second grade puzzles. The gym leader is Juan, who looks like if James Bond was a Tumblr sexy man and uses water Pokemon. His first Pokemon is a Love Disc. A fucking Love Disc. A Pokemon that can't actually fight and just exists to be cute. Calm thy trousers, Don Juan. The next is Celio, who is slightly more capable of taking sharp leaves to the face. Slightly. Then comes Kingdra, who crunches my Sceptile, and so now I need a new strategy. So I thought, hey, let's fight water with water. This did not work. Fine, I guess we'll have to rely on G again. After curb stomping Kingdra, Juan brought out a Crawdaunt. Unfortunately, I thought G Thunderbolt. Love the smell of cooking lobster. Then comes out a Wishcash, a ground type. Well played, Juan. But sadly, Psychic will always beat the sheer raw sexual energy of that mustache. So now I have the final badge.
So, she mentioned Juan having a Love Disc and, like, made fun of it, but I think it's actually kind of a cool way to show a character. Because, I mean, I don't really... Like, I'm not invested in Juan's character. But, you know what? Maybe I'm just bullshitting it. I'm just gonna... whatever. Fucking ignore what I just said.
That was anticlimactic. So now I'm moving on to Victory Road, which unlike the last game, wasn't cut and replaced with an outdoor gauntlet. Damn it. But very early in the dungeon, I run into Wally, who is determined not to lose to me again. He's trained, he's gotten stronger, he's at the end of his character arc, and now just has to beat his rival. Come on, Wally, you could do it. He opens with Altaria, who is just about as fast as the truck it hits like. I'm going into this quite under-leveled, in fact, and I did this deliberately so Wally would out-level my Pokemon in this battle. He takes down...
Why does your Sceptile have Screech?
Sceptile and G comes out. Altaria falls to a Thunderbolt, and out comes Delcatty, who falls to a single Psychic. Come on, Wally, you can do it. His next Pokemon is a Magneton, who bodies my Larion. Like, holy shit, he's so powerful. He even confuses my Vibrava. Oh no! It's okay, I got off that cheeky little crunch. Out comes Roselia, who crunches my poor little bug with a Giga Drain. G...
Why are you so underleveled? Your Vibrava is 7
okay,
levels
I got off that cheeky
under.
little crunch. Out comes Roselia, who crunches my poor little...
It is 7 levels under, and it's a ground type. Why did you just keep it in?
Little bug with a Giga Drain. G comes out and slays Roselia with a Psychic. Murderer! Wally's last Pokemon is his Gardevoir, who's already at a disadvantage because Thunderbolt isn't resisted.
Monster!
And then another crit takes him out for good.
Butcher!
I'm sorry, Wally, but it had to be this way.
edit?
Wally's fight
It's
is
a
actually
reference
fun in
I
this
don't
version.
get.
In the remake, it's certainly presented better, where Wally challenges you in a field of flowers, set with his own rock track as a battle theme, feeling like it was ripped right out of those 90s tournament cartoons. I love it. But unfortunately, they made it easier. His Pokemon team is exactly the same, despite the mechanical changes between Gen 3 and Gen 6, and for some reason, Wally's Gardevoir is replaced with a Gallade. Okay, like, but why though? You
Because Gallade is cooler.
changed nothing else about his team. Why did you make this change? I mean, I know why. Wally's Gardevoir was always male, and the fact that Gardevoir can be male was a point of contention among some very sad people and has always been the subject of exactly 2 jokes played on repeat for almost 20 years. This was the only reason Gallade was even added in Gen 4, and Game Freak has been taking this way too personally ever.
No, they added Gallade because it's cool. And they added a bunch of other evolutions for other Pokemon. So why not add Gallade? Gallade is... They change it from Gardevoir to Gallade because Gallade is this whole, like... It has this whole chivalrous knight kind of thing going on. And, you know, Ralts is kind of supposed to be a... what's it called? His Ralts and Wally are supposed to be kind of like the same. Ralts is supposed to represent Wally's character arc of becoming stronger and having confidence in himself. So that's the point. Like, Gallade with the whole chivalrous knight thing, and you get it. It's not that hard to understand.
Since Pokemon fandom has always had this really weird hang-up about gender. Masculine Pokemon being able to be female and feminine Pokemon being able to be male have always been a huge draw of hissy fits, but I've always felt it was too foolish of Game Freak to entertain that notion. Like, the solution to male...
I agree that Pokemon fans are stupid, and that it's really not that big of a deal. That reminds me of that stupid fucking... Wait, give me a sec, I'm trying to find it. That stupid image. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Save image. Give me a sec. Where is it? Here. Image. It's like this fucking image. It looks so dumb. Pokemon fans are so dumb. Because how do you look at this and honestly think you did a good job? Why does female Charizard have tits? Why does female Pikachu get a flower? Like, this is so bad. This is what that reminded me of. Like, Pokemon fans do love throwing hissy fits over gender, and I don't really get it. But it's really funny. Okay, back to the video. Sorry. There we go.
Gardevoir isn't to make a masculine alternative evolution. The solution is for players to stop being such pathetic sacks of chauvinistic shit. Especially when the end result is that Wally's party is weaker than it was before. Doesn't the poor boy have enough problems? What about the rest of Victory Road, Lily? Oh, what about it? It's a cave. You've seen caves before. Getting right into the Elite Four, the first is Sydney, the Dark-type master. He opens with Mighty Anna.
Victory Road, actually. In every game, I think it's so annoying. Like, I get the point, but I don't like it.
Who Crawdaunt makes handy work of. Then comes out Cacturne, who Ninetales makes quick work of. Oh yeah, I have a Ninetales, by the way. Absol is also make quick work of my Ninetales. Good job, Ninetales. Sceptile crushes Crawdaunt, and Flygon makes quick work of Shiftry, and we're moving on. At this point, the Elite Four is feeling more like a formality than the main story is. Next comes Phoebe, the Ghost Master. Dusclops kills himself, which is a pretty good metaphor for how I feel doing this, and Aggron takes out Baynet. I'm sorry, guys, I really don't have any jokes for this.
Wait, why were you with a Gardevoir in the fucking... into a Dusclops? That is like one of the worst matchups you could get. You are lucky Dusclops used Curse, or else you would be so fucked. Because Dusclops is very specially bulky. It is a ghost type against your psychic type who is very frail. I don't know why you thought that was a good idea, but okay.
After 3 generations, there's only so many ways you can make, and then I one-shot this Bayonet sound interesting. I defeated Phoebe, move on to Glacia. I melted Glacia, move on to Drake, who actually has a full team of dragons, unlike Lance, so good job, Drake. You're a better...
It's broken. True. It's so true, actually. God of War is totally broken. I still don't get how she got a luxury ball so early in the game, but okay.
Dragon Master than the titular Dragon Master. Doesn't stop me from melting them, though. Except Salamence, who hung on like a cheap little bastard he is, and knocked me down to 2 Pokemon. Stubborn bitch. Whatever, we're moving on to the champion. And
Who would have guessed a pseudo-legendary is strong? Who would have fucking guessed?
Ruby and Sapphire was Steven Stone, but in Emerald he's been upgraded to post-game super boss. So instead the champion is Wallace, who is perhaps the sluttiest man in Pokemon. And that's including the remakes where everyone got sluttier.
So
Game Freak was
fucking
horny
true.
making this game.
Also, I just want to mention...
And in Pokemon. And that's including the remakes where everyone...
Dude, talk about an amazing redesign. I know everyone said it before, but holy shit. Archie looks so much better. Archie looks so much better. Shelly also does look a lot better, but holy shit, it's like insane, that glow up. That glow up is crazy. How do you go from looking like the one in the left to the one in the right? They popped off so hard. Like, he looks so dumb in the left. The original Archie looks so fucking bad. Dude, I am so glad they redesigned him, because my god, he looked awful.
And got sluttier. Game Freak was horny making this game. Anyway, Wallace's specialty is
HRT. True.
water Pokemon, and I promise I won't make a joke about being wet. Most of his Pokemon fell because G's still rocking Sith Lightning and won't hesitate. Ludicolo hung on by virtue of having more full restores than common sense. Wishcash was a little smarter.
Also, something I found out, not recently, but like more recently than I should have. Did you know that Lycia and Wallace are related? Wallace is Lycia's uncle, which is pretty cool. I didn't know that because I never did anything with contests, but you know, it's cool. It's interesting. I found that out because of Pokemon Masters.
Raising his special defense, but then he misses his hyper beam. Fucking scrub. But then he got off an earthquake. See, this is what I get for mocking people. But
Lycia, the contest girl. Give me a sec. Lycia. Pokemon. Here she is. I'll show an image. If my fucking browser wants to work, I'll do it. Where is it? Where is it? Her. This girl. Lycia. It's her. She's related to Wallace. I found that out recently.
he's 4 times weak to grass, so neener. Next comes Milotic, who is notorious for being able to take a pounding and recover quickly. This boy is a certified power bottom. But it's okay, because I have crabs. Wait, whatever, I revived G and proceeded to electrocute Milotic's nipples off. Then he sends out a Gyarados. That just feels anticlimactic. Wallace can't...
Also, I lost count of how many sex jokes we've had. Never played the remakes? Fair. I'll be honest, I just found out because of Pokemon Masters. I did not know because of the remakes. Because I never gave a shit about fucking contests.
Stop gushing about how elegant our Pokemon were when they were fighting. I like this guy. And Brendan comes in surprised that I won. Poet, please, why do you hurt me this way? And then I go into a special empty room with an old DOS computer to be registered into the Hall of Fame. And that's Pokemon Emerald. I was pleasantly surprised by how well Gen 3 held up. The writing is as bad as Pokemon games always are, but the terrible writing is complemented by the fact that the main villains are cartoonishly stupid. And yeah,
the writing isn't terrible. What the fuck do you mean? How is it terrible? Like, she always mentions, oh, I hate this, and oh, this is awful, and like, she never mentions why. She just says it's bad because it's bad, and that's it. Like, how is the writing bad? It's good. You literally were complimenting the writing this whole time. Specifically because she's talking about a non-anthropomorphic Pokemon. Yeah, a lot of the time it is bad. The crabs joke was kind of funny. I'll admit it. It was a little bit funny. But other than that, yeah, no, they're not very good. I'm still not over her saying that Wingull is Mr. Becko's lover. Mr. Becko, right? That's his name, I think. Boat guy. You know him. That was still weird. I don't get it. If actually barely ever justifies it, wouldn't be that bad if it wasn't complete retrospective. It would be that bad because she's a self-proclaimed reviewer. She's supposed to be a reviewer. And like, she's supposed to review things and give them, like, you know, criticize them or like compliment them and say what she thinks. But she's bad at it because she doesn't ever mention why it's bad. And when she does, it's because she plagiarized someone else's work. Which she did with the Steven Universe video, in case you don't know. She plagiarized like 3 different people.
Could be. Pokemon trying to have a deep story always falters in 2 places. 1, it's fucking Pokemon, their best written villains are 2 chaotic bisexuals and a talking cat. And 2, Junichi Masuda, the writer of most of these games, can't actually fucking write to save his life. Dude's one of the worst writers I have ever seen, and I have seen Steven Universe in its entirety. So
oh, fuck you! Fuck you, Lily Orchard! I'm not gonna go on a tangent about Steven Universe or else we would be here for 6 hours.
Main story being about 2 brainless jackasses both competing,
which were gonna be either way, but that would be an extra 6 hours added to the runtime, you know?
To see who can cause an ecological calamity the fastest, only to be completely and utterly blindsided by the fact that an ecological calamity is an ecological calamity, is fucking perfect. Some people deride Archie and Maxie as Saturday morning cartoon villains, but like, guys, Pokemon is a Saturday morning cartoon. There's also the delightful fact that the game engine is buttery smooth. Character movement is super responsive, battle animations are so fast, dialogue boxes are fast. This is something we lost in later gens. The game's just slowed to a crawl. I miss the day of Gen 3.
Honestly, I agree. Pokemon, like, to be fair, I didn't think the games were that fast from the start. But God, Pokemon can be so fucking slow. I wish I could speed, like, battle animations up. Like, some of them are so long for no reason whatsoever. And, like, I don't want to skip them. I know I can turn them off, but I don't want to. I want to see the animations. But at the same time, they're so fucking slow. And I don't know what to do. It's especially bad when you're like grinding and shit. It's just ugh.
Where we could move without having to sign forms in triplicate with the processor. This is also the last game where the story is spaced out. From this point onward, the games are going to badger you on every single route and city, either with your rivals, your adult supervision, the evil team, or any combination of the 3. And this is truly the last...
Honestly, dude, I finished Pokemon Black and White last year. It was not that bad. the Evo teams were not that bad. Like, there were a few areas where you had a bunch of grunts, but that's about it. And I've seen some clips of Gen 5. I'm gonna have a lot to talk about. I am gonna have a lot to talk about when we get there. Because my god, does she not understand Unova in the slightest.
Game that lets you off the leash at all. It's a melancholy feeling to say the least, but I truly feel that Generation 3's design philosophy was the best. One where a story fits in a way that isn't so intrusive. It also had the best legendary hunt in the entire series. Tell me you didn't feel like Eevee.
That's the first time she ever mentions mythicals. The first time she ever mentioned anything like this. Too many rival battles? I disagree. Like, if you count N as a rival, I can understand that. But N is not a rival. So, no. You have, like... she does mention it, I think, actually. I don't remember. It's not that many. It is not that many. Like, it's more than you have from games like, you know, this one, but it's really not that many.
O'Connell deciphering runes. This was fucking...
I do agree that there are way too many rivals in later games. Well, Gen 9 doesn't really have that issue, actually, because it's mostly just Nemona. But Gen 6 to Gen 8 are a lot of rival battles, because there are, like, a lot of rivals. Gen 7 is the least egregious of them, because it's only really Hall and Gladion, but still. Yeah, Nemona is amazing. From what I've played, Nemona is really cool. I like her. Yeah. Gen 7 is... Lola is the one that has the least out of the three, I think. But at the same time, it has so much dialogue that it makes up for it. And I'm not complaining, because I love the story of Alola. I think it's really good. Lily Orchard is gonna hate it, because of course she is. It's too much dialogue, she's gonna say. And she's gonna get mad and fucking pissed off that it's a lot of dialogue, but because she doesn't like engaging with the story. But, you know, we're gonna get there when we get there.
Great. All in all, I think Generation 3 holds up extremely well. I'd go as far as to say that it remains the best generation of Pokemon.
That's fair. Alright. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and I'll be right back. I'm back. Just noticed I forgot to change it to the BRB thing, but that's okay. Dude, I'm still mad that she compared fucking Silver to Hop. I'm still not over that. I am gonna get so mad when we get to Gen 8. Shit hits the fan here. Oh, yeah, it will. I've noticed the hints, let's call it, that she does not like Gen 4 or Gen 5, so let's just get into it. Oh my god, it's a whole fucking 30 minutes of this.
Gen 4. The move to the Nintendo...
I'll be honest, I'm not going to have a lot to say here because I don't really care for Gen 4. I didn't finish it. I was never really interested in it. The only thing I like here is Turtwig.
DS, a platform that created some of the most beautiful 2D games on the planet, and which way too many devs tried to go 3D on. The Nintendo DS kind of mimicked the 5th generation of consoles, where out of almost seeming obligation, sprites went out and 1st generation polygons went in. Now, for some developers, this wasn't a problem. For all of its faults, 358 over 2 days worked out perfectly as a 3D game on the Nintendo DS, but this is Game Freak we're talking.
Is it just me, or is the video sped? Why is the video sped up? What the fuck?
About. Game Freak decided that the best idea was to make all the characters out of 2D sprites, but build the actual map out of 3D geometry, which certainly helped to make
the Pokemon designs are good. I like all of the evolutions they made. They're cool, but it just never caught my attention.
Environments look more detailed, but also tormented the DS processor. Combine that with Game Freak's usual poorly optimized code, and the game was locked to 30 FPS. This is a commonly understood issue. The games run unfathomably slowly in movement, battle transitions, health bars. That last one is the only one people actually remember, in fact. And Generation 5 is no better. The games are still slow because they're made out of even more 3D geometry, and this time pixelate like crazy if you move at all. Now, playing the Generation...
I have no idea what she's talking about. My DS never had an issue with Gen 5 at all. Never had an issue running black and white at all. So I don't know what the fuck she's on.
4 games, I actually applied a small modification to remove the frame rate cap, which means you won't see me complaining about how slow the games are. But it is a notorious problem across the generation. Suffice to say,
I've just seen you complaining. You just complained about how slow the games are. Yes, I had a DS. I had a DS and a 3DS. So, to be fair, I was really young when I had a DS. I was like fucking 5, I think.
it is much more playable with these fixes applied. Also, in the interest of transparency, from this generation onto Generation 8, I will either be modifying the starters to include a Ralts or importing one from Pokemon Home, purely for the sake of keeping things interesting for me. The games from this point onward can become a real slog, and I just want my favorite Pokemon to make things a little more bearable. Rest assured.
Why not? If your problem is that the games are slow, fucking get a, I don't know, like a Mewtwo and run through all of the battles. Why do you, like, I don't, whatever, man. That doesn't even make any sense.
Anytime I modify the game, I will be telling you when I've done it. The move to full 3D was, objectively, a bad move. They should have just evolved the 2D look, used more detailed sprites.
Wrong.
Tile sets, not just because it would have been easier on the processor and given better performance, but overall Pokemon just works better in 2D. 2D sprites are brighter and higher contrast, they're more colorful. The 3D models are washed out and gray.
No, they're not. Like, I've said my opinion on Pokemon models. The environments always looked good in Gen 4 and Gen 5. Like, what? Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver are some of the most beautiful Pokemon games out there. What is she on?
Filtered, and this was something we noticed with Pokemon in Generation 6, but again, like everything, it starts here. But that's enough preemptive whinging, let's get going. This time around we get to name our rival, unlike the last game where his name was fixed and I just had a lot of fun with it. And as I was playing this on stream with a bunch of backseat gamers, I figured the perfect name for this annoying little bastard with his hyperactive squirrel brain was Chat. Your name is Chat. That is who you are now. Anyway, the moment I take
fair.
one step, chat rushes up into my bedroom without knocking, little pervert, and insists that if we ask the professor to give
That is a child. You're getting a little bit too comfortable, Orchard.
us Pokemon, then he definitely will, which is infallible logic, chat. Truly your mind is a wonder to behold. I follow them outside, and my mother tells me about wild Pokemon in tall grass. Thanks, Mom. I'm not sure my tiny brain could have figured that one out. After getting outside and fixing the rendering engine so I don't know these ugly black lines ever.
Why are you... Your PC? How? How did your PC... Oh, your browser. Okay. Why is... She... It was just a joke. Whatever. I'm not gonna...
Everywhere. I join chat out by the grass, and they say they're going to jump over the grass to avoid the Pokemon, something that I naturally encourage because I want to see their face get torn off by a wild beaver. But unfortunately, Rowan has to be a sensible adult and stop them. I'm trying to murder my audience, Rowan. Do you mind? Rowan waffles about how our world would change if we met Pokemon, which I gotta say is a huge departure from Professor Oak. Happy birthday, here's a dragon! Then after 3 pages of dialogue, he gives us a Pokemon. I picked the Ralts I hacked into the game, and chat immediately decided they wanted to
Actually, based for getting rid of Piplup. Fucking based. Also, self-proclaimed reviewer decided not to play the game normally and go into a game heavily biased, saying, oh, the games are boring now, I'm gonna hack in Pokemon. Yes, that is what she did. For some reason. It's a retrospective, but only of the parts that I want to talk about. It's complete, but like... It's complete for me, not for you. Because this is all I care about, and the other stuff can go to hell. That's basically it.
battle. Unfortunately, Ralts only knows Growl, so I kind of had to run out the clock on this one. And Growl reduces attack power, so... Oh god, this took a while. Anyway, after I threw the match, we went home. The next day, my mom gives me some...
You were complaining that the game is way too slow. And then you pick a starter. You mod the game specifically to pick a Pokemon that doesn't have any attacking moves. Not the smartest play, I think.
Running shoes, and chat demands we go to the lake. There we find a strange man waxing poetic about time and space. No doubt a small boy with a duck and a dog will be around shortly to take care of him. And then we immediately leave because the area is tainted with his stink. I take the path to Sandgem Town, where Lucas forces me to talk to the professor, and he asked me to name my Ralts, so I named her G. Rowan asked me to record all the Pokemon in Sinnoh, but because I'm just a child, I say no, to which...
Wait, is she playing Is she playing Diamond and Pearl, or is she playing Platinum? 'Cause I don't really know the differences, so depending on which one she's playing, it could be very, very different. Give me a sec. That wasn't on purpose. Oh no. I was gonna mute my mic and I accidentally pressed a button in my fucking PC.
and tell me he's...
Okay, there we go. Had to blow my nose. Main difference, Diamond and Pearl sucks. Yes, that is why I mentioned it. Depending on what game she's playing, it is going to be a very different experience. I expect her to play Platinum because she was playing Emerald on the other one. So we'll just have to see.
A very patient man and can wait all day. And now I'm suddenly aware of just how close the two of them are. He asks me again, and I say yes because I want to... Suddenly aware of just... and tell me he's a very patient man. I say, no, to which Rowan stares at me uncomfortably for 30 seconds and tells me he's a very patient man and can wait all day. And now I'm suddenly aware of just how close the two of them are. He asks me again, and I say yes because I want to leave without getting mauled. As I leave, Rowan screams my name and gives me a TM for return. That's okay, he's an old man, his memory is going. After Lucas tells me what a store is, I'm now free to adventure on my own. At least until I get 20 feet north, where Lucas refuses to let me go further until I tell my family where I'm going. So I go into...
Oh yeah, I forgot that Lucas is also a rival in this game. That it's Barry and the counterpart protagonist. I forgot about that. Okay, that's cool.
Tell my mother that I've been conscripted into taxonomy, and then finally I can move on. Nope! Lucas insists that he show me how to catch Pokemon. Are you done?
By the way, did she ever mention, like, new stuff? Like, you know, being able to choose your character's gender, and day and night cycles, and seasons, and all that stuff? Did she ever mention that? Well, season is in this game, so maybe she will, but I don't think she mentioned day and night cycle. She didn't even mention dark types being introduced. What am I asking? Of course she didn't mention it.
Are you through? Will you leave me alone now? I feel like...
Physical special split. That's true. This happened this gen. Oh, she probably is not mentioning that. Dude, if she didn't mention Dark and Steel types being introduced in Gen 2, she's not mentioning shit, is she? She is not mentioning that stuff.
a small child in a brony convention. He eventually lets me through and I make it to Jubilife where—
Hello there.
Oh, come on! The bastards scrutinize the fact that I haven't caught any Pokemon yet, and then we run into someone from Interpol, because it's not enough that we have cops as the lowest form of human scum, now they've gone global. I'm pretty sure this qualifies as a pandemic. Anyway, the cop tells me his name is Looker and gives me a device to record my Pokemon battles with. I'm pretty sure I'm being GPS tracked. When I try to leave Jubilife, Looker stops me and won't let me leave until I visit the trainer school. I'm going to kill this cop. I get there, I give chat their map while they're standing there, spellbound by the chalkboard, and then I leave. So now I can move on to— oh, for the love of— this man tells me to find 3 clowns so he'll give me a watch. I don't want the watch, but I have no choice. After finding the clowns and playing their games, I get the Poketch. This game's answer to the Pokegear and Pokenav. It's terrible and takes up the entire bottom screen, which I did not record. Anyway, now the way is clear and I can move on to—
that was a lot.
Oh, come on!
He's just standing there, menacingly.
Chat wants to fight again, and this time I'm going to beat—
I can't even criticize her for this. The amount of introduction in later games is very annoying, I will agree.
their damn face into the dirt because I have confusion now. Now will you please go away, chat? Making it to Oreburg City, it turns out the gym leader is away because they're always away. Chat tells me to go to the mine, so I restrain myself from strangling them, for now. It's weird that in Sinnoh, gym leaders have to take day jobs. Is this all just volunteer? Is the Pokemon League just Cub Scouts, but for dogfighting? Anyway, Rourke tells me that if I get the badge from him, I can break rocks. Great name, by the way. The rock-type gym leader is Rourke. Stellar performance, Game Freak. Not since putting—
No, I was gonna mention Brock, but she is mentioning
a B in front of rock have I seen such creativity. So I get back to the gym and challenge Rourke Balboa, and this is a piece of cake. Rock gyms are always simple at— oh, that's not good.
I mean, that's in every gen, right? You had Roxanne as well. So, you know. Watson. Fucking Morty. Morty is less obvious, actually, for, like, English speakers, I think. Because, you know, Morty as in dead in Latin. Yeah, that's the joke. But, yeah. No. That's like a tradition. Every Pokemon character is either just a normal-ass name or a joke. There's nothing in between.
Not only did they finally—
oh, and Getsus.
give the Rock Gym a stab move, but I completely forgot that before level 30, this line has worse stats than a Magikarp.
Yes, and you were saying that, like, I don't know what she's on. Because she hates catching Pokemon, catching other Pokemon, But then she complains that the game is being difficult when she is the one that chose a fucking shitmon as her starter on purpose. She went out of her way to mod the game in order to have a shitmon. I don't know why she thinks she has the right to complain. She doesn't. You know what's the funny thing? If she had just picked Piplup instead of modding it out, she would have already beat this gym.
Oh, I'm in danger. Unsurprisingly, G goes down, but it's okay because I have my own
You're not in danger. You're stupid. That's what you are.
stony boy. A stony boy with fists of rage. And then out comes a fucking Cranidos. You never see fossil Pokemon until the end of the game. Oh, fuck. I'm in trouble.
That's the point. It's cool. Because isn't Rourke supposed to be like, you know, a cave explorer and also like kind of archaeologist? So of course he has a fossil Pokemon. Because it fits his character.
I'm in deep shit. I'm in so much. Oh, hey, I won.
Almost lost my cool there.
And then comes Onyx, who crunches my Geodude and then one hits my Zubat and Starly. How did I not lose to Cranidos?
Oh my god. You have a Ralts, which has awful bulk. It is as frail as a Pokemon can come. And then you have 2 flying types. And your only answer is another rock type with Rock Smash. That is your only answer. I mean, it's better than before where you were just trying to use the same Pokemon for everything, where you threw a Psychic type into a Dark type. It's better than that. I can tell you that much. Good job. It's still not quite there. Maybe don't go under-leveled. That could have won you the game, you know? That's a choice you had.
But
Yeah, she loves catching Pokemon now. Hooray! Character development. That is totally gonna stay in the game. In the fucking rest of the video. She's definitely not gonna revert to her old ways. Totally.
did lose to Onyx. Whatever, we healed and went right back to it. This time, G got a critical hit.
To be fair, she does catch a few Pokemon throughout the games, but like, I don't think I've ever seen her with a full team.
Hit on the Geodude, but got one-shot by a Pursuit. And Geodude punched a hole right through Cranidos' bussy and proceeded to punch a hole right through Onyx.
Okay, how about we don't mention Cranidos' bussy? How about we don't mention this animal in a sexual way? How about that? How about that idea? I think it's a good idea. Oh, she had a full team? Okay, well, it's fine then. I was wrong. I'll admit it.
People who say Rock Smash is a bad move haven't had the joy of 4 defense drops in a row. Geodude.
I'm in pain. Rock Smash. It's a 50 base power move. Actually, is it 40 or 50? I think it's 50, right? Either way, that's so low. Like, okay, it lowers defenses. Why should I care? Like, maybe it is. Let's see. Let me go back.
Through Onyx. People who say Rock Smash is a bad move haven't had the joy of 4 defense drops in a row. Geodude is not a gentle lover. So I headed north onto Route 204, only to realize that I needed a bike to move on, so I guess I have to go all the way back through Orb.
That's like saying people who think tackle is a bad move never got a crit. Like, okay, it is still a bad move. It's a move that you're supposed to teach at the start. Like, it's not... You are never going to say that Rock Smash is better than fucking close combat, because it's not. It is a bad move. But it's supposed to be a bad move, because it's a starting move. Certain things can be bad. Just because something is usable in this specific situation doesn't mean it's good. It's the start of the game. Was literally anyone but Lily Archer, I wouldn't be doubting if it was a joke or not. I don't know. The way she said it doesn't sound like a joke. It sounds the same way she said, like, oh, Calm Mind is busted. She said it the same way. So if it is a joke, she made a poor job of making that clear. And if it isn't a joke, she's just wrong. So, like, work on your communication, Lily Orchard. That's your homework for today.
Gate. Getting back to Jubilife City, I found Rowan and Lucas being harassed by Team Galactic, who wants his research. Rowan says it's a surprise that I already have a badge, tells Galactic they're bad people, we battle, and they run off. Now that sounds simple. I complain about these things a lot, but it sounds brief when I summarize it like that. However, it is one of the most needlessly long pieces of dialogue in the entire damn game. Like, it goes on for quite a while, and all it amounts to is, hey, Team Galactic, you're ne'er-do-wells who don't follow the rules. Also, wow, Lily, you sure are a good trainer. You should take the gym challenge that you were already doing, and also complete the Pokedex. Also, here's a fashion case. That's all they really say, and yet the dialogue itself is so fucking long. Just look at this played in real time, where I'm mashing the A button as fast as possible.
Okay, I get what she means. You know what? I'll just keep going. I'll say what I want to say later. Maybe it's for the 10-year-olds to read and not the 30-year-old alleged piece of human waste for future. Wow, okay. Kind of violent. She skipped some. Okay. She's genuinely comparable to Glenn Quagmire. That is a very big accusation. Like, I mentioned it on the first stream I was reacting to this, but that is a big accusation. And, like, I don't know about all of the allegations. I chose not to mention them because I don't understand, like, I didn't research it, so I feel like it would be unfair for me to talk about it. So, like, that is a big accusation if true.
Is this necessary? Is this really fucking necessary? They just go on for so fucking long. I can't imagine trying to read this inane crap in real time. This isn't fucking pathologic. Why do you need pages of text to tell me the most simple goddamn things? This is why...
Two things. I'm not sure if this is on fast text speed. Maybe it is. I don't actually know. Like, I can't tell just from this. But if it isn't, well, just put it on fast speed. That would be better for you. But what I wanted to say before is Lily Orchard reminds me a lot of people who complain about localizers. Because a lot of this is like flavor text. It's closer to flavor text than something actually important. It's just something that's adding like personality and actual character to the world. Because if Rowan just told you, hey, these guys are bad, fight them, that would be boring. That would be bad writing. You know? But like, when it has this whole thing where like they're fucking explaining remember, this is the first time Team Galactic gets introduced as well, so it's kind of important for them to do this. But like, if they just resumed everything, that would just be bad writing. And like, there are more natural ways you can introduce the evil team. Yes, I agree. There are better ways you can do it. But this isn't as egregious as she's saying it is. It's just okay. But she keeps complaining that they just keep on talking and talking about unnecessary things. But if they always just said, like, if they always just got straight to the point, then what the fuck is the point of having an NPC? Just, like, put a fucking thing telling you what the next thing you need to do is at the top of the screen, and that's it. Like, put a fucking quest bar there and call it a day. That there's no point to have an NPC at that point. These are characters. Rowan and Lucas are characters. They're, like, they're supposed to be more than just empty husks that tell you what to do. They're supposed to actually, feel alive, and that's why they talk so much, because people in real life talk a lot. It makes sense in the context. It doesn't matter if you don't like the bunch of dialogue. The fact is, it makes sense in the context. Could it be better? Yes. But don't act as if this is like the 8th deadly sin, because it's not. It's not that big of a deal. This is normal. Lily Orchard, you would not survive Persona.
A skip cutscene feature is needed in these games. All of this would be more tolerable if I could just go...
I agree skipping cutscenes would be kind of a good addition to Pokemon, though. Like, if you played the story once, it does get annoying. I agree with that, but still, the way she complained about it was wrong. Like, not wrong, but stupid. Let's put it like that. The way she complained about it didn't really work. It didn't show what she was trying to say properly, and it ended up just kind of making it sound like she was complaining about something else entirely, which she also was complaining about. But whatever, who fucking cares?
This is what I mean when I say Pokemon's story hasn't improved. They still use very one-dimensional characters all the time. They're just more verbose about it. They talk forever about nothing, and it's not like they also have voice actors you could enjoy in spite of that. Instead, it's like watching subtitled anime, just a whole lot of reading the most inane, terrible bullshit and wondering why the fuck people think this is good. I made it to Floroma Town and then ran right past Floroma Town to continue on to the next motherfucker. Alright, I went back to the power plant, but I need the key, which is in the flower patch. Thanks, random grunt, for being terrible at your job. Back into the town we go. In the flower garden, I found 2 more grunts harassing this old man, and after destroying them completely and utterly, I got the key to a power plant. This is definitely something you should give to a 12-year-old girl. Inside the power plant, I found Galactic Commander Mars. No, seriously, what's your real name? This is Team Galactic. That is not your real name. Whatever, Mars only has 2 Pokemon. This is a piece of...
As a person called Moon, I feel personally offended by that. I'd be joking. That's obviously not my real name. But come on. Are you really gonna fucking act as if the person... Like, obviously that's not their name. But at the same time, it's just cool. It's a person with red hair, and they are important to Team Galactic, so their name is Mars. It's a fun character trait. Like, it's cool. Am I wrong for thinking that? I think it's cool.
No, seriously, what's your real name?
Or what she's gonna think when she gets to Gen 9 where they're non-one-dimensional characters. I'll tell you what she'll think. Because what she's gonna do is she's gonna turn them into one-dimensional characters. Alright. Here's gonna be my guess. I'm already gonna guess what she's gonna do for Gen 9. Even though I'm not gonna be able to watch it. Here are my guesses. She's gonna say Nemona as a yandere because that's obviously what people love saying, even though it's just objectively wrong. She is going to say Arven is very annoying and that... Actually, no. She's gonna like the fact that Arven is trying to save his dog, but she's probably gonna hate the whole fucking professor thing. I know about that a little bit. I did get spoiled about it. She's gonna hate the whole relation to the legendary and the professors. That's what she's gonna think of Arven. She's gonna like the dog part. She's gonna hate everything else. And she's just gonna keep joking about Penny being obviously Cassiopeia. And that's it. That's all she's gonna say about Penny. She's not actually gonna care. Oh, and she's gonna do the same thing everyone does with the Team Star guys, and she's gonna act as if they're total bullies when they were the bullied ones and blah blah blah. You know the deal.
This is Team Galactic. That is not your real name. Whatever, Mars only has 2 Pokemon. This is a piece of... Whatever, it's common knowledge that if you throw a rock at a bat, it'll stop moving. Next is a cat, something that 12-year-old me also had experience in throwing rocks at.
Okay, okay, fine. Obviously it was a joke, but you know. Look, if I can get criticized for joking and then, like, starting a joke and then taking it back what I said about, you know, being able to kill a child, I can criticize her for saying that she has experience throwing rocks at cats. I think I deserve that little bit of, you know.
Unfortunately, this cat has apparently been around children because she's acclimated to rocks being hurled at her skull, and I lost. I came back and earthquaked her face in, and the scientists said that they were gathering energy to create
That's not earthquake, that's magnitude.
a new universe. Sir, they were fucking with you. They're insane. Don't take the right-wing death cults at their word. They're not gonna make a new universe with 2 windmills. Outside, I run into Looker, who keeps up the stellar...
You don't know. Have you tried before? Have you tried making a new universe of 2 windmills? Don't knock it till you try it. That's what I say.
Reputation of the police by being fucking useless and arriving 20 minutes too late. He thanks me for doing his job for him and runs off for goals I'm not entirely certain of, but given historical precedent, I wouldn't want to live in Nakreen City right now. Anyway, the good part is that those damn grunts aren't blocking the bridge anymore and I can move on. And I have to say, Sinnoh's fucking ugly. The colors are muted, half the routes are covered in mud, the entire game looks washed out.
Well, see, I haven't played these games entirely, so I cannot give an opinion.
Out in gray, and even the forests look damp and depressing. Everything about Sinnoh is just gross and miserable. Even the music. Twin Leaf Town's...
Dude, what's the point of it adjusting it? What's the point of complaining about it if you're not gonna show us? Don't adjust it. Show us.
Sounds like the theme to Coronation Street, a musical score that is determined to evoke suicidal urges.
I don't like this song. Okay, since she's mentioning the songs, can't she like mention Eterna Forest? Because that's one of the most beautiful songs in Pokemon, and you know.
I don't care for the music is what I'm getting at. If it's not putting me to sleep, it's filling me with an intense existential dread. Like, I'm 30. Why am I marathoning the Pokemon games? What am I doing with my life? What have I amounted to? I spent my entire 20s grinding out videos for the internet to pay my rent. What is this hell I have sealed myself in? Why am I pissing away what little time I have on this planet seeking coins to trade for— oh hey, the exit.
Lucky we didn't panic.
So in Eternity—
Yeah. Disagree. Gen 4 has such good music, dude. It's so fucking good.
I ran into Chat again, who drags me to the statue of one of the mascot Pokemon, where Cyrus is monologuing about creating a new universe, and then immediately fucks off. Good talk, Cyrus. I head to the Eternity—
She's not gonna mention how the statue is both Dialga and Palkia at the same time. Because that's cool. That's a cool detail. I guess it's just not big enough for her to mention it. Okay.
Gym, and Gardenia's outside to tell me that I have to fight the gym trainers for— what? Like, I get it, Pokemon games from Gen 4 onward hold your hand like a creepy uncle with a My Little Pony collection, but this is the second gym. This isn't the first gym. I've already got the first gym badge at this point. I've already done this. I know how this works already. In this particular game, too. This only puts more confusion on the—
Maybe she says that because you don't have to fight gym trainers in other gyms. And in this one, you have to. Ever thought of that?
fact that Rowan is surprised that I have a gym badge already. Did I sequence break? I had to look it up. I genuinely thought I broke a sequence here or something. It turns out I didn't. The game's just like this. In fact, this is a problem the games have had for quite some time. Here's an example. After finishing the gym and getting ready to move on, I'm stopped by Cynthia, who offers me an egg. Now, at first I legit thought this egg contained a Riolu. My memory of this game isn't very good. This is the first time I've played it in 15 years. So naturally, since Lucario is one of my least favorite Pokemon, I chose no. And then Cynthia refuses to let me leave until I initiate dialogue with her again to accept the egg. I finally accepted it and tried to leave again, only for a lady blocking the way to refuse to let me through until I have an Explorer's Kit, which is used to access the optional underground area. And since I'm playing on an emulator, is virtually useless and is actually useless on actual hardware in 2022, and the feature wasn't that great when the game was new anyway. But I can't move on until I get this one key item. A cyclist blocking another exit out of the city did the same thing. Have I not made it clear that I want to move on? When I relented and went to get it, the Explorer Kit man wanted to give me a tutorial for the underground. I was given another yes or no choice and picked no, obviously, and you know what happened? He actually took no for an answer. Sure, he was guilt-trippy and sad about my refusal, saying that he's very lonely, which is actually the only time in this game the dialogue has ever been charming, but I was allowed to leave without going through the tutorial. What a novel concept. Out of any single thing Game Freak does poorly with the Pokemon games, it's this failure to take no for an answer from the player that's the most glaring. Frankly,
I mean, I feel like that's just RPGs. A lot of the time it feels like that. Not always, but a lot of the time it's just like that.
I don't understand why they put so many of these meaningless yes or no questions in the game at all. Like, I understand why tutorials aren't optional. Junichi Masuda is a boomer who has nothing but contempt for children. What I don't understand is why there are so many instances
let me read that.
of a boomer who has nothing but...
In the box, yeah. Put the egg in the box, that easy. Watch your to the decision. You noticed that auras had a lower difficulty. Let me play the game. Games are supposed to come out in Italy. We create a balanced game that was suited for our type and age. Everyone is busy and young people have various means of entertainment. The player can choose to keep on playing after the main story and post game. For reasons that are much more difficult trainers and this question is connected to previous history. This isn't contempt for young people. That's just saying they're literally just adapting to the times. It's literally just saying, oh, people kind of don't have time anymore to, you know, spend a lot of time in our games. Since they're supposed to be mainstream, they're like, oh, we don't have a lot of time, so we make the games easier, and if you want to make them harder, you can play the actual hard parts. And that's literally it. That's not... That has nothing to do with what she mentioned.
Contempt for children. What I don't understand is why there are so many instances in the series where the game asks you if you want to do something and then ignores you if you say no. Time had to be dedicated to making the decision and writing the twee refusal dialogue, so the question is, why? This is further compounded by the fact
I agree that that is kind of stupid. Like, why give the option if you're just gonna make the player say yes anyway?
that the Explorer's Kit man and a man who offers to show you the contest hall in Hearthome City both actually take no for an answer. So pick a lane. Either I can't say no, in which case stop asking, or I can say no, in which case listen when I do. Children get enough of adults railroading them and disrespecting their wishes in real life, they don't need it in their video games. And yet Pokemon, the most popular kids game of all time, insists on being a nagging parent the entire way through.
The option is for charm, but it's not charming. That's kind of the problem. It's just annoying. If I said no, it's a no. Okay, one thing that I like about the whole putting the option in places where it doesn't have to be is in Alola when Hal comes up to you and he says, "Oh, have you heard?" And you can answer no before he says anything, and then he just becomes self-aware and he's like, "I didn't even say it. What is wrong with you?" And I think that's really funny. That is the one time I can remember that I like it. That's it. That's all I wanted to mention.
Oh, after beating the gym and getting cut, I had to go into the Galactic headquarters. Why? I have no idea. I'm not paying attention to the dialogue at this point. I just have to go in there.
Oh, is that supposed to be something new? That you're not paying attention? Is that supposed to be new? I kind of assumed that was the default for you.
There to beat up Sailor Jupiter. I crush her, send her back to hell with the rest of the Sailor Scouts, and get this guy's Cleffa back. Or Bunnery. Which one's yours again? I don't actually care. I make it to Hearthome City, but the gym's closed because the leader is at the contest hall. Oh no. Oh, please don't force me to do a contest. On the way there, my egg hatched into a Togepi. Oh, it was a Togepi. God, I'm so fucking stupid. I get to the contest hall and find my mother there talking to the woman I let
Well, at least we agree on something.
out of the forest. Yeah, sorry about that existential crisis back there. She gives me some glitter powder. Thanks, I'm never getting this off my purse now. And then my mom gives me a dress. I'm not really a dress kind of girl, Mom. But anyway, I found Fantina, and she agreed to go back to the gym without any headaches. Well, that was mercifully painless. I feel like I'm about to be blatted in the face with a rake. Fantina's gym is a ghost-type gym that plays with light and visibility to find the exit to the broom and avoid the trainers. Going forward, I'm only going to highlight the unique gym puzzles, and this is one that's actually pretty interesting. Utilizing darkness in a way that's more clever than Brawly's gym ever was, and a more creative use of navigation than Morty's gym. Fantina herself is also reasonably difficult. By this gen, I was kind of used to ghost Pokemon also being poison-type as well, so it caught me off guard when I remembered, oh crap, I can't just curly on my way through this one. And I ended up losing twice. And you know what? I respected the game for that. But during my grinding, my Golbat evolved into Crobat, and because Ghost is weak to Dark, for some inexplicable reason, Crobat was able to just straight...
Why is Ghost weak to Dark? Is there like an actual reason for that, or is it just for game balancing? Because I don't really get it. Ghosts live in the dark. And I get that in Japan, dark type is more so like evil type, but that still doesn't make sense. I don't really get it. Speaking of, something I also don't get is how, like, why can ghost types hit fighting types? Ghost types can't hit normal types, but they can hit ghost types. They can hit fighting types, even though both normal and fighting can't hit ghost types. Why? I don't get it. Like, what's the difference? Oh, this guy knows martial arts, so now I can hit him as a ghost. But if he's just a normal guy, I can't. Why? What's the point in that? I don't get it.
Sweep through the entire gym on the third go. Aw, who's you good boy? Heading west to Route 209, I immediately run into fucking Chat. Excuse me, I need to bash this annoying little pissant over the head and neck. I I came across this tower, which turned out to be a graveyard. On the 3rd floor, it got a lot of fog, which reduces accuracy by 40%. But thankfully, G knows Magical Leaf, which never misses. There's a lot of places in this game that have fog, which means if you carry moves that have guaranteed accuracy, like Magical Leaf or Shockwave, it means you can turn the fog from a Kiss Curse weather effect into just a bonus. Defog is an option and is an HM in this game, but personally, I prefer having 40% extra evasion as a baseline. As I enter Salacion Town, who should I run into but the living embodiment of every nightmare I've ever had. He brags about having seals, but forgot to put them on. Ha! Dumbass. In Veilstone City, I head to the gym to see Lucas out front. He mentions something about the Pokedex. I don't remember, I wasn't paying attention. And then Crasher Wake comes out of the gym and introduces himself before running off. Lucas wishes me good luck, and I head in. Veilstone Gym is an actual gym? What the fuck? I mean, makes sense, it's a fighting type gym, but it's in serious disrepair, holy shit. Puzzle here is basically a block pushing puzzle using heavy bags to clear obstacles and open pathways. It's a little intricate, you have to double back a few times to get through the entire thing. I like this one, it's pretty neat. As Mayland's Pokemon are fighting type,
cool.
G's the go-to here. I get off one Calm Mind and then proceed to...
Okay, there's too much positivity right now. I am expecting some bad takes in a little bit.
Sweep both Meditite and Machoke. Then out comes Lucario, who takes a few more hits to get down, but he still ultimately goes down. Then I run into Lucas, who claims Galactic took his Pokedex and asks if I want to help him beat them up. Assault under dubious circumstances? Count me in! After G mugs them and steals their wallets, we get Lucas's Pokedex back. Then Looker shows up and says he heard about children feuding with Team Galactic. He then deputizes me to form an illegal search of Team Galactic's warehouse. Do you even have a warrant? Are you allowed to just force a child to help you? Do you even care about what you're allowed to do? Look at me trying to reason with a cop. Well, there's a sealed door inside, so our breaking and entering can only go so far. Looks like we have to...
I have literally nothing to add. I'm just pausing so it doesn't, like, you know, doesn't go a long time without me saying anything. Because I know my voice is amazing and I'm a lovely person. And everyone loves me, so...
part ways, Looker. I'd say it's been fun, but frankly, your presence makes my skin crawl. If the game allowed me to, I'd have Gene microwave your brain. Arriving in Pastoria City, I go right for the gym, only to be interrupted by Chat, who demanded another battle. But G learned Psychic, so his Pokemon fell like dominoes. The Pastoria gym leader is... oh, it's Crasher Wake. I was wondering when I'd see you again. His specialty is water Pokemon, and unfortunately for him, G...
Were you really wondering that?
has recently learned Shockwave. It nearly one-shots his Gyarados, and that's without even using Calm Mind. Then his Floatzel comes out with a crunch. Okay, was sincerely not expecting that. Luckily, my Crobat took him out. Then I confused his Quagsire and finished...
Dude, Floatzel's a fucking beast. If I... like, I'm scared of Floatzel, no joke. It's, like, way stronger than you would think it is. It's so fast, and it hits so hard. For no reason. I don't get that thing.
It off with Togetic. Togetic was a good choice in Gen 2. I decided to go with it again in Gen 4. Then we get outside and Crasher Wake says he overheard Team Galactic talking about a bomb. A bomb.
Like 110 attack? Yeah, it's so strong. Why is it so strong? Why is this fucking... what is Bwizzle? Fucking... it's an otter, right? Why is this thing so... it's not an otter. No, I have no idea. I don't care. It's way too strong.
You're just committing regular terrorism at this point. This is Pokemon. You should at least be using an Electrode with Explosion. You're not fitting the theme, Galactic. We get to the entrance of the Great Marsh and the bomb explodes. Holy shit, they actually did it. Then a grunt came out and confessed to terrorism and ran off. Crasher Wake runs into an active explosion. Honestly, I respect the hell out of him for it. I was deputized to chase after someone who just set off a bomb. I chased him around a mountain and through a resort before finally cornering him on the road, and he sends out a single Krogunk. Krogunk are 4 times weak to Psychic. So I crush him, and he just walks off, and I just let him, apparently. Kind of beats the purpose of chasing after him, but whatever, Game Freak, just want to make sure I get my cardio, huh? Then Cynthia gives me some medicine to get rid of a group of Psyduck blocking Route 210, which remains the most ridiculous roadblock the game has implemented. She then asked me to deliver...
How is it ridiculous? It's just... I mean, yeah, it's kind of dumb. I'll agree. I don't know. I just want to say things. I think I just want to hear my own voice.
deliver a charm to her grandmother. Ma'am, I'm not a free courier service. Just go spend time with your grandmother. Stop avoiding your family. So I find the Psyduck and use the medicine to clear their headache. All right, now shoo. Go on, find some frozen peas to steal. As I progress further through the route, the fog gets really thick. As I mentioned before, I opted not to get defog because G and Togetic have moves with guaranteed accuracy, meaning that I get to benefit from the 40% accuracy loss from fog. This makes fog a benefit rather than a hindrance, and it means I don't have to waste move slots on an HM with only one real application. Not that—
Yeah, it's kind of world building, but I don't think they ever use that again, do they? So like,
I dislike HMs. Personally,
it's about Souls. It's about Dark Souls for the PS3.
I love the idea of field moves. It's more fun using my Pokemon to clear obstacles than items or special ride Pokemon. And man,
This woman is insane. She's insane. What do you mean you like HMs?
managing HMs has never really been an issue for me because I know the kind of move spread I need. HMs are a bugbear in the community. I guess it's part of the problem of people thinking they need full type coverage on every Pokemon, but honestly, I never really had that problem. Just on Gardevoir alone,
I just want to be able to use what things I want. I don't like HMs. I just want to be able to use the moveset I want without having to either have a specific Pokemon for like every HM, and like I don't like it. It's so bad. Like, I don't want to have to use an HM. I want to use my Pokemon with their moveset that I chose. I don't want to be forced to do it. Yeah, the idea of HMs is good, but by God, is the execution awful.
I need only 3 move slots, Psychic or Psyshock depending on the gen, a non-Psychic type damaging move, and Calm Mind. Everything else is optional after that, and that's the approach I take with the rest of my Pokemon, so working in a few HMs isn't a problem. Besides, the fact that I have 24 move slots and have to manage them between moves for battle and moves for the field is an interesting bit of resource management.
Okay, that's kind of a cool team. I'll admit it. I would have this team. It's a good team.
And I think Pokemon remove
Maybe change Togetic to a dragon type, but other than that, good job, Lily. Good job, buddy.
moving it just because some Poketubers complained that they couldn't be 100%
Actually, no, I would change Gardevoir to a Gallade if I had to use Rot's Fang. And if not, I would probably just put Torterra in.
optimized in this children's game was a bad move. As I mentioned before, I think my generation's refusal to think and adapt to roadblocks is part of why the Pokemon games turned into such a boring snorefest. We did this to ourselves, honestly. Arriving in Celestic Town, a galactic grunt is
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What?
100% optimized in this children's game was a bad move. As I mentioned before, I think my generation's refusal to think and moving it just because some Poketubers complained that they couldn't be 100% optimized in this children's game was a bad move. As I mentioned before, I think my generation's refusal to think and adapt to roadblocks is part of why the Pokemon games turned into such a boring snorefest. We did this to ourselves, honestly. Arriving
Yeah, I was gonna say, now she mentions that it's a children's game. When she's storming through it and it makes her look smart, it doesn't matter. But when other people who she doesn't like are complaining about not being able to do things they want, it's bad. And it's a children's game and they shouldn't take it seriously. Fuck off, Lily.
in Celestic Town, a galactic grunt is blocking the entrance to a shrine, so I bully him and make him
You think there's gonna be a joke about how her name is Lily and there's a Pokemon character named Lily in Alola? You think there's gonna be one? I feel like there's gonna be one.
leave. Inside is a mural of the 3 lake spirits, and Cyrus bursts in and says he wants to put an end to pointless strife and conflict in the world. What pointless strife and conflict? This is a socialist paradise. What are you talking about? You're the only one causing any conflict. You set off a bomb, for crying out loud. You know, Archie and Maxie...
I mean, we're forgetting stuff like, you know, the fact that there is a confirmed war in Pokemon. But But even if there wasn't, the point is that Cyrus is delusional. Like, he doesn't like the way things... But, what was I saying? Yeah, Cyrus is delusional. He is wrong. I mean, if he wasn't wrong, he wouldn't be a villain, right? But yeah, no. The whole point is that Cyrus is delusional and that he is like this whole idea that things should be the way I want them to be or else they're bad. That sounds very familiar now that I think about it. Maybe you're doing a little bit of projecting, Lily. Yeah, Cyrus is like delusional and thinks that the world is bad because he thinks it's bad and it's not the way he wants it to be. And he wants to make a whole new fucking universe for the sake of it. When it's just not the way things go. Yeah, I feel like there's a bit of projection here.
We're like,
Sir, yeah, no, it is literally her. Wait, I got a message from my mom. Okay, I'm back.
charmingly stupid, but you're just completely out of your mind. I beat the crap out of them, but the Elder already gave him all the information he needed, so he took off to go capture the lake spirits. I'm gonna have to go after him, aren't I? So I head to Canalave City, where I'm immediately beset upon by Chat, who demands yet another battle. I'm really starting to get sick of this kid, you know? After that, I headed to the gym. It's a steel-type gym, whose puzzle is based entirely around guessing which elevator lets you progress. I'm guessing the dev who designed the Hearthhome City gym was homesick that day, and the job of making this gym fell to the guy who writes the dialogue. The leader is Byron, who is apparently Rourke's father. You know, there's a joke in here about steel being a more refined rock. Anyway, his Magneton and Steelix went down with one flamethrower each from Houndoom. Oh, who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? Bastiodon took a little more teamwork from Lopunny, Houndoom, Crobat, and G to take down, but we got there in the end. Once I get outside, I'm harassed by Chat again, demanding I come to the library. I swear, if you demand another battle, I'm going to stab you. So I joined Chat, Lucas, and Rowan in the library, where Rowan is giving us a lecture on Pokemon evolution. He decides we should split up to go to the 3 lakes, and right on cue, there's another explosion. We turn to the news to hear Team Galactic has set off a bomb at one of the lakes. Naturally, since it's an active site of an attack, we decide not to go to the lakes and wait for the situation to be all clear before. So I arrive at Lake Valor to find that it's been drained by Team Galactic's bomb, and there are
Okay, that's kind of funny. That's a little bit funny.
Magikarp flopping around, and they say they're heading to Lake Verity next. Well, that's fine. Lucas is already on his way there, so I arrive at Lake Verity to find that Lucas is being bullied by Galactic members, so I have to do fucking everything around here, apparently. Alright, that's 2 out of 3 lakes cleared. Where's the 3rd? It's on top of a mountain, Lily. Fuck. The route to Snowpoint City leads through Mount Coronet and up a snowy mountain path filled with trainers and environment hazards. It's not bad, it's the first snowy environment in these games, but they just had to go and mess up the ambience by adding deep snow to impede you at every possible point in the journey, and
It's a mountain. Did you expect it to be easy? Like, what?
crawling with trainers who keep getting crits way more often than they should be, I fucking swear. It's worth pointing out that in Platinum, the female character model is wearing a winter coat but no pants, and I'm walking through waist-high snow in a blizzard. So that was certainly...
Yeah, that doesn't feel practical, does it? That's probably not a very good practical, like, thing. I don't know. Maybe they're invisible pants.
a decision we made.
I've got frostbite on my...
Maybe they're like the exact same color as her skin. I saw a guy recently with wearing a shirt that was the same color as his skin, and I was really confused for a second, and then I noticed, oh, it's a shirt. So maybe it's like that.
somewhere you really don't want to get frostbite.
I found a house in the middle of the blizzard where a guy is complaining that he's trapped here because he dropped his HM for rock climb. Luckily, I found it just ahead. When I went back to return it, however, he said I could just keep it. Sir, don't you need this to get out of the snow? What? Nah, forget about it. I reached the mountain to the lake, and Chad is at the top mocking me for being slow and being unable to climb rocks, and then rushes off to go take on Galactic alone. Wait, Chad, no, don't, you're a complete fuck up at everything you do. Fine, I gotta go get my rock climbing license, I guess. Fucking Vogon, seriously. Snowpoint City Gym is just like the Mahogany Town Gym, where you have to slide into obstacles to navigate your way to the leader. It's alright, Discourage is running back to the Pokemon Center, so it's okay by me. Candace starts with
Remember in the remakes when they totally fucked up the ice physics and they made it so you could just skip all the way to the fucking gym leader? Remember that? That was pretty funny.
with a Sneasel, who dies to a single flamethrower. Then Piloswine, who proved to be a lot more hardy than I thought he'd be and knocked out 3 of my Pokemon before G finally put him in the dirt. I sent G back out against Frostlass, and when she started spamming Double Team, I was like, alright, fine, let me spam Calm Mind.
What? No, that is the worst possible choice!
I make myself a beast and a tank, and then I'll just sit here praying for a lucky hit. Once I got there, I started trying to hit with Psychic, but it, wasn't going well. But then something occurred to me. Wait a minute. I have Shockwave, which never misses, and hits for neutral damage. And I have like 5 special attack boosts. What the fuck am I doing? One Shockwave and she went down, and one Psychic took out Abomasnow. Can't believe that slipped my mind, honestly. I just got done talking about how the fog wasn't a problem, and then I forget about why it wasn't a problem when I need it the most. I swear, something's wrong with me. Once I had the badge, I can go after Chat, who it turned out got beaten like the little baby bitch he is. Hey, maybe next time you'll throw down a rope. Like, this guy taunts you for not being able to climb rocks, necessitating a detour, and now he's completely failed at what he came here to do. Like, honestly, Chat, you deserve this. At the Galactic HQ, I found one of the grunts I defeated earlier in the game. I bet you don't remember me. You're all white people with the same bowl cut. Of course I don't remember you. Anyway, this grunt is grounded for losing, and he throws a tantrum, mentions a storage key, and then runs off. Then Looker, oh god damn it. Looker shows up and says he has the key and we can go attack the warehouse. Okay, if you shoot anyone, I'm gonna have G powderize your bones. So we break in without a warrant and look around, and I find the key to the Galactic base. Great, I can use this to raid the Galactic HQ. What are you looking at me like that for? I'm not a cop. It's not unethical for me to go rampaging around like a lunatic. I fought my way through the headquarters until I reached the main chamber where Cyrus is giving a speech to his grunts.
She's using an HM slave. She is a Grappler. It's probably the Geodude from earlier, right? I didn't notice if it was an HM slave. I bring that up when talking about the HMs. Because it's not convenient for her point, that's why.
Is this a cult? It feels like a cult. But wait, that doesn't work, because cult leaders have to be the kind of charismatic person that dumb sheep want to follow in the first place. And Cyrus has no personality, no motivations, we don't even know what he's doing. Quite the performance. No. Shut the fuck up, Looker. So I corner Cyrus in his brooding room, and he confesses that Team Galactic are just pawns. You yourself must know that they are uniformly useless. Well, I mean, yeah, they are the bottom 10% of our graduating class. The problem is you think you're any more useful than they are. You want to create a new world only for yourself. How far have you shoved your head up your ass, Xehanort?
Why are you shitting on the game for... What? She's complaining that the evil guy is evil. What? What? You should never mention the fact that sometimes none of your Pokemon in your team can learn the move, and you have to bring a whole as new Pokemon. Sometimes my Pokemon can learn a waterfall. That would be something to bring up, right, Lily? Once again, not convenient for her point. That's why she's not bringing it up. Because it disproves what she decided is true, so she just ignores it. Hey, look at the bright side. We only have a few minutes left of this, and then I'm gonna end stream because I'm tired. It's good that I'm doing 2 generations each time, because like we're gonna stop in Gen 8, and then that's gonna be a nice even number because I'm doing 2, 2, 2, 2, and it's gonna work out.
Then challenges me to a fight, I win, Natch, and he gives me a free Master Ball and runs off to Mount Coronet. So we're chasing Galactic through Mount Coronet, which is something of a maze that at the very least the game lets you handle yourself. Oh, come on, Looker! As you're nearing the last door before Spear Pillar, you come across this cracked piece of stone in front of a cave. Looker has to walk you through the basics of the fact that Team Galactic probably dug into a wall. Observe, if you will, that hole. There was once a cave painting that had blocked the way to the summit, but the wall, it is no longer there. It lies in pieces. Do you see? Ever since the 3 Pokémon of the lake had been captured, something terrible has happened. But what exactly? I do not know. There is but one cause. Team Galactic Cyrus. And now we are all caught up. Oh, really, Looker? Really? I'm not sure my tiny brain could have figured that one out. Oh, there's some stone cracked here.
Probably couldn't, considering you're not paying attention to the game. Maybe it was a good thing that Looker showed up so he could, like, give a reprise for people like you who don't pay attention to the story at all.
In front of the tunnel. Maybe Team Galactic went that way. Oh, yeah, I wasn't sure. Thank God you were here to help, you useless fucking cop. In case you haven't noticed, there's a ton more dialogue in this game. Cyrus alone has more than double the dialogue than Archie and Matt.
Oh, she was complaining for sure. Yeah, I like the voice she did. That was pretty funny. Also, is this accurate? I don't know if it is. I don't think Getz stalks that much. I really don't. I'm not sure if this is true. Also, here we can see which villains she hates. Like, this is just a tier list of which ones she hates the most to the ones she, like, doesn't hate. This is literally just her opinion of that. Just her like to dislike ratio to the villains. That's it.
Actually did in their respective games, but it's also stilted and devoid of any real creativity. He's an evil guy. He does evil things. Evilly. Credit where it's due, Maxie and Archie at least had the charm of the fact that they thought they were going to better the world, but they're like fucking idiots. They were almost charmingly stupid in that regard, coupled with the fact that you just don't run into them that often, like maybe less than 6 times before the finale, and after that they're like, oh, hang on, I think we might be stupid. And that's coupled by the intense weather that affects the entire map along with the tense music that accompanies it. They fucked up massively, and if we don't fix it, we're screwed. And that's more compelling than Cyrus's nihilism. Aqua and Magma are like, if we don't stop these 2 idiots, they're gonna kill us all. They're the only non-Rocket villain teams that work. As much as people complain about Team Rocket being evil for the sake of evil, I mean, that was never actually true. Team Rocket is a gang. They want to exploit Pokemon for financial gain. Instantly, that is a more real antagonist than Cyrus with his delusions of grandeur. People who want easy and quick money, or if we're being honest, are desperate because of late-stage capitalism, will turn to crime. People who think...
Wait, didn't she say this was a communist utopia a few minutes ago? Make up your damn mind, Orchard. What is it? Is it late-stage capitalism, or is it a communist utopia? Make up your mind!
Society has become so degenerate it needs a cleansing. Go on YouTube and rant about SJWs and woke scolds. A more real version...
Oh my god. She's complaining about the whole fucking point. Like, she can dislike it, but, like, she's acting as if the story is bad. Like, she's complaining that Cyrus's motivations, like, are... Shit, how do I say what I want to say? She's complaining that Cyrus is shallow and that he is very, like, his motivations don't make sense. And, like, she's complaining that he's delusional, but the point is that he's delusional. She is acting as if this thing that was a deliberate choice is bad writing when it's on purpose. And she can dislike it, and it can be done poorly, but she's acting as if this thing that is very deliberately the point of the game is bad because it exists. It's not because it's poorly made. It's not because it's poorly written or introduced or like nothing like that. It's just bad because it exists. Even though the point of the whole story is this. And I'm not saying that she can't dislike the story. I'm just saying that she's acting as if it's objectively bad that it is like that. That the motivations are too complicated, not that they're bad. She never talks about the actual motivation. I don't know what his motivations are because he didn't play the game and she's not talking about it. He has no motivations. As I said, he's delusional. I know the story of this game. He's just delusional. Cyrus is supposed to be delusional. And like, he's supposed to be objectively wrong. But she's acting as if him being wrong is bad. That's like if she complained about Archie and Maxie being stupid and their actions making no sense as bad writing when it's good writing. It's on purpose. It's supposed to be like that. The way she says it, it sounds like they were trying to do something else but accidentally made this, and it's bad the way it is, even though it could be done in a different way. That's not the case. She just doesn't like the story. It's another case of her not liking something and then acting as if her opinion is fact. And instead of going, oh, it's not my thing, I didn't like that, it's, this is shit, and if you disagree, you're an idiot. She does this every time.
Version of Cyrus would be on TV blaming all of society's problems on, I don't know, the Jirachians? No, the Muse. People this nihilistic and delusional just don't have the drive or charisma to run a cult and convince people to bomb a city. He's kind of like the jailer. He has the charisma of a pile of wet sand, and yet we're expected to believe he's manipulated and gaslit people much smarter and more charismatic than him. Oh, he's a charismatic leader. Bitch, no he isn't. He's an ugly-ass miserable nihilist sulking because the world has some vague wrongness to it. And people say he...
Yeah. Like, he does, like, let me try to phrase this in a way that I like. Cyrus is a whole, like, ideology. It is nihilism. And that's the thing. Nihilism is fucking dumb. But still, so many people like and adhere to nihilism because it makes them feel smart. And Cyrus, he, like, knows that nihilism is dumb and that his grunts are dumb and that everyone who follows him is an idiot. He knows that. And he uses that to his advantage. Because nihilism is dumb, but it makes people feel smart when they believe it. He just grabs something that is so obvious, anyone could get to that conclusion, and he makes it this grandiose thing, which makes people who are stupid and reach that conclusion feel like they're smart, and they end up following him because he makes them feel big. It is a cult. It's manipulation. It's not just like, yeah, he's not a fucking show host levels of charisma, but he knows how to manipulate people in a different way. There's not just one way to manipulate people. Something that you probably know a lot about, isn't it, Orchard?
He's the best villain in the series. Like, what is this? The fucking sequel trilogy? What are y'all salivating over? At least Thanos had the resource shortage to pretend to care about and make his megalomaniacal narcissism almost pitiful and make us want to kick his ass. Cyrus, I just want him to shut up. Stay in the distortion world and rot, you fucking jackass. Oh yeah, the distortion world is terrible. People complain about having to use a few HMs to explore and how Victory Road is played out, but celebrate this? This whole dungeon is a frame rate nightmare. It performs like ass, except in a few areas, and it wants you running all over Hell's Half Acre to push a few rocks and sliding platforms, and oh fuck, I am so goddamn bored. Then you have a battle with Giratina and leave. I'm so glad we shared this adventure, Cynthia. Now please stay 95 million miles away from me. Rest of the game isn't worth talking about in too much detail. The story's over, but you still have a badge, Victory Road, and the Elite Four to get through. Almost feels like a formality after all of that. Like, you want to prove my worth? I was in another dimension just a few hours ago. I fought a god of antimatter. Then you get to the Elite Four and oh my fucking god, chat. You go through the Elite Four, which is the same it's always been. The only thing worth talking about is Cynthia, because Cynthia and her Garchomp are the most overhyped boss in the series. When I was going through the earlier gens and...
Where does she take her opinions from? When she's not plagiarizing other people, she just makes shit up, I think. She just, like, decides on the spot. I am gonna like this, or I am gonna dislike this. And that's it. I think that's how it works. Never seen someone say that the distortion world is good. I like the concept of it. I never played it, so, like, I can't say for sure. But I like the idea of it. It is really fucking cool. The distortion world is basically hell, right? Because Giratina is supposed to be like the devil. And it's also the god of the distortion world. So it's hell, right? Isn't that how it works?
talking about how, like, Whitney wasn't a real problem. People were like, oh, wait until you see Garchomp. Wait until you get there. It'll crush your dreams and give you PTSD. So, about that...
Okay, non-related to anything, because I am going to complain about this in a bit, but I love it when Pokemon takes, like, things happening in the game and modifies the song depending on it. Gen 8 does that, Gen 5 does that. Gen 5, when your Pokemon gets to low health, the song plays, and I love in Gen 8 how when you're, like, on the last Pokemon of the gym leader, like, the crowd starts cheering, and if you open the switch menu, the menus for switching your Pokemon or items, the crowd gets, like, kind of, what's it called, they get muffled by the menu. It's so cool. It's so cool. Like, holy shit, it is such an amazing way to do this. I love it so much. I just felt like we needed a little bit of positivity here. Lily, you've beat a game for children. People, I agree, the Garchomp hype is very annoying and corny, yes. But, like, the thing is that is mostly mentioned by, well, CEO of Sinnoh, the, like, one of the arguably worst mainstream accounts for Pokemon. And also, like, it's propagated by people who were kids when they played this, and they didn't know about status moves, so they just kind of, and, like, you couldn't search up things, right? You wouldn't search up like, Cynthia's team before fighting her, so you didn't know Garchomp was coming, and you would get swept by it because you weren't expecting it, and your team wasn't prepared for it. So, like, yes, you were a 30-year-old. Of course you beat Garchomp. When you have prior knowledge to the thing, you can prepare for it, which is what you did. But when you're a child, when you're 10, and you don't know that Garchomp is going to sweep your team if you don't prepare for it, you're not gonna prepare for it.
Yeah, here's the thing about memed on trainers. The solution to Whitney and Cynthia is use defense. like any of it. I think Cynthia is the fault of people just not growing up. When we were kids, same type moves and maybe weaknesses were all we would do. We would spam Earthquake for days, and as we got older, we didn't stop doing that. People would take their starter into Cynthia and try and brute force it like they always do, and what a shock, it doesn't work, because when your opponent has this, it's pretty much designed so that you can't just blitz through it. Her first Pokemon is one without any weaknesses, guys, come on, and her ace is fast and hits like a semi-truck. The counter to a sweeper is bulk. So I came in with Reflect and set it up on Milotic, and then Garchomp couldn't touch me. That's the thing about Garchomp.
And that was first I've seen people make the same Pokemon or just make. Yeah, she just isn't. If she made the point in any other way, I would have agreed with her. Like, what she's saying now is what I said. But the way she presented it was so bad that it made the point feel wrong.
If it doesn't one-hit kill you, it's dead. Flat out dead. Its defenses are not that great, and combined its middling special defense with a Pokemon with high special attack, it's just dead. These trainers aren't even asking much of you. You can sweep Cynthia with Reflect and like 1 or 2 Calm Minds if you're not confident. Spiritomb was a bigger threat than Garchomp because it was immune to both Psychic and Focus Blast, which were the only attacking moves G had. The rest felt like Domino.
It's what I said. Yes, that's the point. People who are saying these things are saying them because they fought Cynthia when they were kids. Yeah, I was gonna say 95 and 85 is pretty good, but back to what I was saying. Like, they say those things because as kids they weren't expecting it and it made a mark, and now, like, no one has a problem with Cynthia if they know it. Anyone who's replaying the game knows that Cynthia is coming with the fucking awful Pokemons and fucking Garchomp to sweep you, and they prepare for it, just like you did. Like, come on. It's not that difficult to understand.
Because just a little bit of setup pushes the damn game over. I saw people planning for BDSP like, okay, I'll need a Weavile to outspeed and quad weakness it. And, by the way, in the remakes, Garchomp has the Ice Nullifying Berry, so good luck with that. When it's so much easier than that. Reflect, and literally any special attack boost will do. Hell, just rock up with a fucking Focus Sash or something. There's so many ways around it that turns this fight into mulch, but it requires remembering that neutral damage exists. I've seen so many Poketubers discount
Here it is again! Hooray! I've said all I can about this. I can't add anything. You already know what I'm gonna say before I say it, so I'm just gonna let this part pass.
Pokemon in the early gens because they don't have stab moves. Need I remind you, I swept 2 of the Kanto Elite Four with the weakest fully evolved Pokemon in the game.
Perhaps you want to stop acting like wild dogs chasing their tails and think for a moment.
Generation 4 isn't terrible, but it's not as good as Generation 3. The issues that have been creeping in since Crystal have metastasized into a game that does not believe you can go 5 seconds without being supervised. It has fully gotten away from what makes Pokemon fun, the adventure. Instead, you're being forced onto a path by a story, and I wouldn't object to that if the story was good, or at the very least, sparse. But all that's really changed is the sheer amount of dialogue.
Notice how she equated good and sparse. She just thinks that... She literally just thinks that fighting, like, going through a long story is bad by default. I was gonna say, I think Beedrill is worse than Butterfree. Butterfree gets better coverage and, like... I feel like it's... You know, you get it. She equates a small story to being good, when that's not how this works. It's an... Again, I keep repeating myself, but it's because she keeps repeating the same thing. It's another case of Lily Orchard not engaging with the story and then getting mad because she didn't engage with the story, and now she thinks it's bad, even though it's her fault that she thinks it's bad. This is what pisses me off the most about her. She just doesn't care. She doesn't fucking care. But she acts as if she does, and makes this whole spectacle around it, but she doesn't care. If she does just admit it, I don't care, it would make sense. You know what the best part of this whole review of this generation was? When she said, I don't care, I'm not paying attention. I related to her. Like, if she just said those things, if she just said, I don't really care about this, I'm not gonna lie, I would understand. I would even agree with her in some parts. It wouldn't be as bad as it is. But she keeps doing this thing where she feels like she has the authority to, like, say if something is good or bad. She's a self-proclaimed reviewer, but she doesn't do anything with, like, she never engages with the story enough to actually be able to fairly review it. She never does it. It pisses me off so fucking bad. And I'm too lazy to change my PNG tuber's expression, but it's the truth. It makes me so angry. I just want this to end.
Characters talk way too much, and they say way too little. The dialogue is in desperate need of an editor, or someone who knows what the hell they're doing. And the thing is, the dialogue is pretty much the only problem with these games from this point onward. Like, the gameplay is competently made, and you can fix the performance issues easily, but there's no fixing the dialogue without tediously going through every text box and manually...
She doesn't say her biases, that's the issue. Yeah. Back to what I was saying, like, you know who's someone that constantly, like, mentions, oh, I don't really care for this story, but I don't mind? Alpharad. Alpharad constantly says, hey, I don't really care. I'm not interested. It's Pokemon. The story isn't really going to be that good. And, like, I get it. Sure. But the difference here is one of them isn't trying to implant their opinion on everyone else. Jacob isn't saying, oh, I don't care for the story, but it's bad because I say so. He's just saying, I'm not really interested in the story of Pokemon because, in my opinion, it generally isn't very good. And that's it. He's not saying that you're an idiot for being interested. He's not saying that you fucking suck if you like the story of the games. He's just saying, I don't care. That's it. That's the difference between these two people. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna get a headache if I don't stop. I can't take this anymore.
Editing it, which takes time and skill a lot of people don't have. And all the good post-game features, and Gen 4 and 5 have a very robust post-game, is all held hostage by the story. You have to endure this part, and you shouldn't have to. The main game shouldn't have to be this burden you have to endure to get to the things that are fun.
God! Oh my god! Ugh! How did I get so riled up about a generation I don't give a shit about? Holy shit. Oh my god. How am I gonna survive 4 more generations of this? That was so bad. Holy shit. Oh my god. Also, I did a pseudo poll on Twitter. I did see it. I did see the thing about MinJTV. Most people said, yeah, he's corny, but he's not harmful. He has a good community, which is a lot better than what people think of Lily Glen Orchard. Yeah. Like, This whole thing actually inspired me to watch a MinJTV video again. And, like, the one I watched, it was pretty fun. Like, not every joke hits, and like in the end, it's kind of, you know, it's content that is supposed to be like for everyone type of content. You know, it's not like, it's obviously target audience isn't very like adults or something like that, but it's okay, it's good content, and it's like honest, you know, it's not bad. But she keeps mentioning him, and I don't get it. God, dude, holy shit, this video is awful. Oh my god, I can't take it anymore. I have to stop. I'm gonna end this stream right now, so yeah. Fun stuff. Not. Oh, shit. Okay. I'm gonna be going. It's just because she didn't want to download another picture. Yeah. That is what I said in the first stream, but yeah, it is exactly that. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take a shower because I feel awful after that. I'm probably gonna eat something, so I'm gonna upload this to the VOD channel as well because I have one of those now. Hooray for me. Bye.